Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip-hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm-to-table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch-guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, but now available on thebeastradio.com. Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, Internet. I'm Suave Burgundy. Yeah.
What it is, Suave?
We are living in a post-WrestleMania world and attempting to make the most of it.
That is an absolute fact.
New endeavors.
New endeavors. Sounds like an episode name to me.
On the cool, while you playing games, yeah. You see, that's the kind of episode it's gonna be. You asked for the smoke, you asked for a bunch of foolishness and nonsense, and I am here to deliver.
I don't even want to go. Actually, I can do this. It's Good Friday. Today is Friday, April the 7th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I said year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
20 and 20. Tree.
Wiggle wee, convenient, bring me your dinner bucket. I'm gonna keep doing that. Like, that's just gonna be the thing.
Let the church say
amen.
There we go. Let me get some housekeeping out the way.
Or would it be a they for how we live in nowadays?
We don't remix the great ones.
We don't deal.
see, I wasn't ready for that one right now, but since you requested it,
we don't deal or put up with accusations, and most definitely not false accusations.
Tell him, Ross.
Just come in the room with all of the truth darts.
Let me get some housekeeping out the way first before we go into the actual show of things. Number one. All right. This show is dedicated to those who lost their lives through the storms throughout the South and the Midwest last Friday and this week.
Absolutely.
My dear sweet mother,
racist mom.
She was able to brave the tornadoes in Arkansas, but in the midst suffered a heart attack. But she is on the mend. She is scheduled to be released today.
Actual facts that are fantastic to hear.
So we'll see what happens later on, but right now I'm in high spirits because she's still with us. It could have been way worse had she not been alone. Shouts out to my family for being there for her. Now,
that's what's up.
That's number one. That night, I was graced by the presence, and I graced myself with the in the essence of greatness as the good brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated had their Southwest Regional Convention, Southwest District Convention, and the Master of Ceremonies for the step show was Broken Pencil BC's own, and also member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Mr.
Price just went up.
Ron Murray himself.
Hey, shout out.
You know, in true fashion.
The Stokely Hathaway of Broken Pencil Logic.
And in true fashion, that is only but one thing.
A whole lot of fucking gang shit. Yeah.
And I was able to hang out with a few of my line brothers that together, the four of us, and out of 8, haven't been together since 1999.
Oh, damn.
So that 3 of us were at this together last year, but the fourth piece of that puzzle, we haven't all 4 of us been together in the same room since 1999. So we spent the evening together. It was a great time to be had by all. That's
okay,
number
that's
2.
What's up?
Let's see if there's anything else I'm forgetting. Also dedicated. This show is dedicated to the memory of the late great WWE Hall of Famer Bushwhacker Butch, and we will give a 10-bell salute in his memory at the end of this show.
We got something special planned. So for those of you who are subscribed to the YouTube channel at Broken Pencil BC, as you should be, there's some really cool things that are about to start popping off for these subscribers, because, you know what I'm saying, we bring you that bonus and extra content.
True indeed.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I have a little beverage here. Suave is on his foolishness on his side. And there's a reason for it.
Better believe it.
We had what we like to refer to in our environment as Wrestling Christmas and Wrestling New Year. WrestleMania season is supposed to be the most joyous time in the year for professional wrestling fans.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
And Suave and I talked about this on episode 201, where there's a lot of times, especially in more recent WWE pay-per-view history, where the pay-per-view card itself on paper does not translate to be nearly as well or as good as the finished product does on television.
This was one of those times.
This was one of those times in spades.
Absolutely.
In spades. Especially if we had to pick a unanimous winner for night 1 versus night 2, by and large, I encourage anyone who saw bits and pieces or missed any piece of night 1 or didn't see anything for either night, go check out night 1 in its entirety. A banger from top to bottom.
Night 1 set the bar so high that it felt like night 2 tried to overcompensate to match up and fell short because of it.
Night 1's card was so well put together, and this is a prime example of less is more, because it only had about 7 matches on it, and it was so well put together that the finished product is up there among the top WrestleManias ever. And you can go and be your own judge and look at some of these cards that's up against, but we're talking about 7 matches that go up against cards of 10, 12, in some cases 14, 15 matches in one night. This is one of the best one-night cards in the history of the business, bar none. Every match banger, and if you told me what your match of the night was and you argue with me on that, as long as you have valid points, you probably would be right in your own world, as I probably would be right in my world, and no one would be wrong.
I hate the prisoner of the moment thing. You know, we go back and forth.
We go back and forth on this, yes.
A lot. Soon as something happens, like there's this, it's like a default setting for everyone to try to compare it or rank it against something else.
Oh, prime example.
Either close proximity or over all time.
Prime example was this same show last year where I was talking about Cody's return to WWE. I thought it was like a moment we went to a mixtape and they immediately dispelled that whole shit.
That's all I'm saying. It's like, okay, prisoner of the moment, yeah, cool, totally understood. But at the same time, there's like 38 other of these. Like, this has happened, the whole thing has happened 38 times before. And in recent memory, since 36, it's been 2 nights of each.
Yep.
So there's a lot of cards, there's a lot of different stuff that I don't like to crown stuff the GOAT within the first 30 days.
Absolutely.
People do it with albums all the time. Like, somebody will drop an album and they drop the album at midnight, and by 12 noon the next day, you've anointed it album of the year, best album ever, and just GOAT level bars. Like, stop doing that.
Suave, here's where you missed me on that. You said drop an album at midnight, and I'm guessing on a Friday. Would you say?
It depends. People look, at this point, people are so all over the place trying to find the right formula of when to drop an album. There is no set formula. You got people dropping on Tuesday at midnight. You got people dropping Friday at midnight. You got people doing shock drops in the middle of the morning. Like, people are just looking for any opportunity to cause some buzz. It's more about the spectacle than it is about the project.
And that's the artist in you talking that right now. But the point I'm trying to make is you saying midnight puts you immediately in the frame of mind of the here and now of the streaming generation. Whereas I remember joints dropping on Tuesdays. If you were lucky, you would get the Friday before because you had a plug at the record store.
Right. But, I used to be there. Yeah. No,
you know what it is.
I was that guy for a while, so I do know what you mean.
So there's the disconnect there because the people that you're talking to know nothing about what I just talked about. And there's the level of the classic stood sometimes 2 years in between albums, whereas the classics that you're talking about, and I'm not saying you particularly, but you in this scenario,
right,
can go between a month, maybe 3 between an album and a mixtape, and the mixtape is a surprise drop. No, thank you.
So okay,
prisoner of the moment.
Pete, it's like, so what you spoke to about, physical releases you would get on a Tuesday, you would be able to read liner notes and really get into the project.
Yeah.
The equivalent for wrestling is it's the era where, one, if you didn't see it live, you didn't see it. And two, if you didn't record it, you weren't going to see it again until you went to Blockbuster.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? So obviously there's going to be more nostalgia attached to certain stuff that's a certain ways back. But I'm just not in a place where I like to crown stuff as the end all be all within the first 48 hours. And certainly I give everything 30 days to breathe because you don't know how you're going to feel in 30 days. How you feel today is not how you're going to feel in 30 days.
I can tell you this. This is the first time, possibly ever, I've gone back to watch as much as I could digest at one time of one night of WrestleMania. And that's including the cards that went only one night. And I went back just to see like the first half, to digest it, some of it again. And I'm not saying it's GOAT, like it's the GOAT. GOAT level, GOAT worthy, yes. But the GOAT, I'm with you. Prisoner of the moment, not going to be that guy. But that night one card can hold a candle. Now you totally within your rights to say I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was one of my personal favorites. Yeah, no doubt.
Anything that you put on you, just you, fine. But there's a segment of people that like to quote, they would like to crown everything and then make it everybody else's answer. Like, no, that's for you.
Yeah, yeah.
For you, it's great. For me, I got other shit that I use to, figure out who should be on top and who on bottom. Pause.
And keeping it completely objective. Right. Going back to what I said to start the whole conversation off.
Right.
It's because the card on paper underdelivered my expectations. The execution of the card
exceeded.
Chef's kiss.
But see, that's another thing. Like, okay, so what about the times where the card had you up here to begin with, and then that same card delivered? Just because you went into it with lower expectations and got more than what you bargained for, does it make it better than something where you had high expectations and got exactly what you asked for?
Absolutely not. That's the same conversation, because now you feel like you got your money's worth. Because think about
the world to do with a wrestling fan.
Think about the WrestleMania crowd this year. They didn't know until First Take on Friday what matches were going on.
I think that's kind of cool, actually.
It is, because it makes you emotionally invested, because you spent hard-earned ducats to get into that building, just to be there for part of the spectacle, because WrestleMania is indeed a spectacle. If you haven't been to one, shame on you. Go to at least one. I'm not saying that you only have to.
It's not like it's an inexpensive situation.
Nah, it hits. Like, there's travel involved unless you happen to stay in the same city, and even if you do, you don't want to drive your car to the facility.
Boy, no, you do not. Under no circumstances do you want to drive your own vehicle. But I just thought about something you said. Yeah, and I said it was cool to know like the weekend before. That's because I'm watching it at home. I'm not buying tickets.
No doubt.
So for the people that have to make a crunch time decision on night 1 versus night 2, like you can't do both for whatever reason, it sucks to not know that information until literally 48 hours before.
But there are some people
24 hours before.
There's some subset of people that just don't care, like those that are overseas, those that know they're going to drive. Like 40 is going to be in Philadelphia. There are going to be people that live in San Diego that's going to drive to Philadelphia just to have a sign in the crowd that says, I drove X amount of thousands of miles to be at WrestleMania this year.
I would hope not, considering certain things that are going on in the news that you're going to try to drive cross country. That might not work out for you. You should pay more attention to the headlines, my friend.
Well, some
you could have bought 4 plane tickets for what you spend in gas.
Some people prefer, their road trips. I mean, I'm one of those people, but I also know when and how and where to take my road trips.
Somewhere somebody might prefer their eggs with shells in them. I'm not one of those people.
Some people like cucumbers better pickled. On the flip side,
never offer a grown man pickles.
Wait. So I guess since we're talking about it, and I mean, of course, you can always hop on the CAC. You can hop on the CAC and figure it out. But I guess since we're talking about it, we can go ahead and run down the matches here real quick, which we did last week as far as the actual card. But we can tell you.
We'll speed round this one. I don't want to even jump in too much on these. There's one I gotta speak on, but everything else was good. We'll speed round it.
Let me say this. This may be the first time this happened too, not just at WrestleMania, but for any pay-per-view. You and I both went 100%. No, actually, no. I think we did. We both went 100% to the good. We batted 1,000 for night 1. On who ain't gonna win.
Perfect on night 1. Perfect. No. I took a L on night 1 because I picked Dom.
Okay. So, and I think so that was the only one where we different. So I batted 1,000. You hit, like 88. But you did that. Yeah. You still did that.
I could have cashed out on DraftKings. Don't worry about it.
Cena versus Theory, U.S. Championship. Definitely surprised that Cena lost, but at the same time, we predicted him not to win.
A-Town down, baby. The future. Future. A-Town down. Hey, do you see what Cena looks like now? This Cena is not the Super Cena from before. Like, you can't... Nah, that's not going to be a good look.
He went... Because when we saw him on SmackDown at the end of the year, he looked like a cruiserweight.
He still looks like a cruiserweight. He looks like Peacemaker, but like the moon roof he's got going on is like you can't cover that up with color. Like, you need transplants or to just make a decision.
I know dope ass barbers that could do wonders with that hair right now.
There's no barber that's doing anything with that hair.
I know some dope ass barbers.
Putting a false top on there
without spraying anything or making it look like a clown makeup. Like, no pixie dust, none of that.
They're gonna shave the top out. They're gonna apply some glue, and then they're gonna put a frontal on there, because that's all you can do for that man at this point.
Is it like this? Like.
Yeah, after the glue dries, it won't shift like that. But that's all we can do, and then fade the sides. There's nothing left that can be done. You can't spray that in. You can't sprinkle any of the filter hair on. There's nothing you can do other than patch it up or hair club for a minute.
It sounds like a book I don't want to read.
Cena wouldn't do a spray. He didn't do a spray tan. He didn't do an actual tanning bed. My guy decided to run full speed, whatever full speed.
Full speed today is not full speed 10 years ago. Continue.
Totally understandable, and I don't judge him for that. But he ran the WrestleMania ramp in Air Force One.
80 yards.
Do you know how risky that is on a slope?
I had a conversation with you while I was in the Nike store a couple of weeks ago about some high top Air Force Ones and how heavy they were.
Brick City.
And those joints, they weren't broken in, they were crispy.
Mm-hmm. So they completely flattened out.
There's
no arch.
There were toes that were like throbbing after that match.
Like and that's not normally his footwear, so I don't know if he just only brought those or just had them made exclusive.
Yeah, he's a Reebok guy.
No, he's his own shoe guy. You remember Cena had his own shoe
that too, yeah.
Walmart and Kmart. But he had been wearing his own thing for a while. Now back in the Gap, it was like the D Brown Omni pumps, and then he did
black
go
top
through
joints.
He went through a Team Jordan phase. He's dabbled in some different kicks, but for the most part, it always stayed in one lane. Then you had that small window where he actually wore boots with jorts. But that was during like throwback jersey scene. That's like early Thugonomics. But yeah, him running full speed down the WrestleMania ramp in Air Force Ones has to be the riskiest thing done all weekend.
Man, that is that's an egregious call out for that man.
That's called throwing caution to the wind.
If nothing else. And actually,
if nothing else.
And actually, there were 8 matches that night. So let's run them down. Here's the second one. Street Profits defeated Braun Strowman and Ricochet, Alpha Academy, and the Viking Raiders. Nothing I predicted that other than the Street Profits winning happened in this match.
If you haven't seen this, 2 things you need to see: Dawkins, Ricochet.
Dawkins, golly,
hit stick.
Ooh. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
So I've heard some people not appreciate Dawkins for that. Like, it wasn't a breakout moment for him, and it was not a breakout moment. But I'm gonna tell you, it put a lot of people on notice about that man.
It's a highlight.
Yeah, it is definitely a highlight, and could possibly be the moment of that match. And there was some moments. That whole match was a moment.
It's him and Rico.
Yeah,
like the shooting star Rico. Oh boy.
That dude can flip his ass off, and the fact that he's doing the same shit more gracefully now than he was 10 years ago is insane.
That man paused in midair and avoided hitting the commentator's table, like off a shooting star press out.
Pause
into the say.
It's defying gravity and the laws of physics at the same time. Seth freaking Rollins defeated Logan Paul.
As expected. I didn't expect such a competitive match, and I'm not sure I'm okay with that.
What I don't like is post-match, we got the return of Kung Fu Panda.
What is he pandering about?
Prior to WrestleMania, he was talking about how he hated Logan Paul, how Logan Paul did not belong, all of these things. Post WrestleMania, he says that Logan Paul should not leave WWE. He should stay.
We knew that before the match, Seth. This was about you. This was not about Logan Paul. We knew, one, Logan Paul was probably not going to get the W here unless y'all were going to work a long program. 2, we know because of who he is, what he does for a living, he's always going to have a place in WWE unless he does something that you can't come back from. We know what the list of those things are.
One other piece of this, Suave.
What?
Logan Paul, like he wrestled his first WrestleMania last year.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no way, with as many WrestleManias as Seth Rollins has been in, as many matches as he's lost at WrestleMania, that he was going to lose to Logan Paul. Hang that shit up.
We knew that, but it's the way he won. Like, this was a competitive ass match. You would have thought Logan Paul was AJ Styles. Like, it was competitive on a Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles level. Okay. We'll get into things with our tribal chief a little bit later, but when people is trying to name like who might be the guy and Seth's name comes up, I'm like, yeah, it's cute in theory, but on the cool, like situations like this, I was expecting Seth to put on a show and dog walk Logan Paul.
He made him look like a superstar veteran,
which makes you more Dolph Ziggler than Shawn Michaels.
Let it breathe. Let that bitch breathe. As we continue, Lita, Trish Stratus, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. Wasn't mad at it. Entertaining match, and Trish's homage to herself was actually a pretty cool thing too.
An homage to yourself. See? It's what it should have been, Seth.
How hard was that? Ray and Dom. Ray with the entrance of the night, by far.
Wait, Dom with the entrance of the night first, and then immediately after, new entrance of the night, Rey Mysterio Jr.
I didn't appreciate Dom's entrance, but I was laughing my ass off.
Dom's entrance looked like, first of all, the video of him being in prison was hilarious.
It looked like something fresh off of like a HBO, like a sitcom, like a series, like a, you know.
Yeah, it's like
something bingeable.
It's the documentary about prison that comes on after Oz. But look, when they walk him through the crowd with the handcuffs on, he's got on Ray's mask, and you realize, oh shit, he's got Ray's gear from Halloween Havoc '97 on, which essentially is the match that made him a superstar.
It was Ray's coming out party,
right?
Against Eddie.
Exactly. Who he said, who Dom said, I wish
I was Eddie's son.
Was my father.
Yep.
So like there's a lot of storytelling with the gear. And I've come to the conclusion Rey Mysterio is the gear GOAT. It's not even about what he wore at WrestleMania. It's just the fact that his track record is so flawless. Because I asked this question a while back.
And out the ring. And because Ray has some pieces. He's Gucci'd out.
He will put that shit on. he will put it on. Like, I mean, hey, Ray gear GOAT.
Ray comes out. Snoop Dogg's driving a vintage Impala.
Orange.
With nothing but a G thing playing. Licensed. With the artist who's singing the song driving him to the ring.
If there is no other reason for you to get a better relationship with hip-hop, it's for that. You can get the artist to appear and get the licensing as a part of the appearance fee.
And you know who happens to own Death Row Records?
Snoop. When they negotiating with nobody else, because see, you go to the table nowadays, like the music industry is in flux. So right now, if you go to say Interscope or Warner Music Group, and you wanna license something out of the catalog, whether it be from a new artist or an old artist, they gonna tax you because they hurting. Snoop love wrestling. Snoop love y'all.
If Snoop didn't love wrestling and Snoop didn't love us, Snoop when he got his belt back that got stolen from him recently. And he sure had it at WrestleMania.
That's all I'm saying. And if he hadn't have gotten it back, I guarantee you they'd have had him FOMO. They'd have like, you use this one to travel, you put this one in the master bedroom, you put this one in the man cave, and then the other one you just put in the trunk.
But I'm not done with the interest though. When you come out to with an old fool and you bump in Snoop's song and you cut Snoop's song off and you come out from the curtain in an old fool, there's only one song that you can play. Lie, cheat, steal. Ray was playing the hits. And then he dropped his own music and came out to the ring.
I mean, I actually love the fact that this was so much about Ray. And I think this may or may not start a trend with inducting active wrestlers into the Hall of Fame.
Can you think of anybody else worthy enough to go into the Hall of Fame without having to be that close to retirement?
Right now, it's kind of hard to say. Like, obviously, you could find a way to. I think you could actually add to Roman Reigns' character if he was a Hall of Fame inductee and not be anywhere close to retirement. Like if this year, like at 40, he was going into the Hall of Fame, like that would make everything just hilarious to me. Because it's like you can't argue that he's a Hall of Famer.
Roman's resume is insane.
But you're doing it, and he's not 40 yet. Like I actually think that would be, very effective storytelling. AJ Styles.
Yeah, AJ for
but
sure.
But just not from a WWE standpoint.
But I think AJ is probably closer to retirement than Ray is, even though Ray is older. That's crazy.
Yeah, we got to see how this ankle mends. Name me off some people that are in the upper tier. So basically, we're doing a mixtape right now.
Which I didn't plan on doing, but here we go. Orton.
So we got Roman, definitely Orton, definitely. But okay, how much longer does Randy have? Same thing you just presented about AJ. He might not have as long as Ray.
I think Randy's shelf life got cut short last year, shorter than we expected to. Because just from the way that Randy had been changing his style over the last couple of years, I was expecting to see Randy go mid-speed to main event caliber at mid-speed for the next 6 to 7 years, and we might be lucky to get 3 or 4 more out of him. And and of course that's all depending on how his rehab and his injury recovery is going.
He's 100% smart enough to be able to work around any injuries or any physical limitations. The only thing is, what's the finisher? Are you willing to lose the RKO in order to have more Randy Orton, or is that do those two things even equate?
Unless while he's rehabbing, he's crafting the final chapter for his career.
I mean, so I saw a rumor. Well, I saw a rumor. He's included in plans going forward for something. So I don't know if that means just he's always in the ballpark, or does that mean we know he's coming back?
I still think he needs to at least match Triple H's title reigns.
I'm not against it.
Because a missing Randy Orton coming back, if nothing else, adds him into the mix as a fresh competitor. I also think, I'm going to tell you another one, I think that regardless of what happens the next year or two, just because of how he's been able to parlay his career over the last, now at this point, and it's so crazy, I'm going to say this, 10 years, Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar could definitely be a Hall of Famer and not be done yet. Yeah, that's a good one.
Like he's extending his shelf life in spades.
I struggle to figure out who's on the roster that fits the bill on that. Like these people aren't popping into my mind readily. Like I'll
give you another one. I'll give you one more.
Who you got?
The Miz. You may not like it, but if you
it's not about me not liking it. It's about the acceptance of making Miz a Hall of Famer. I think people will appreciate Miz and his Hall of Fame induction way more after he's officially retired.
Because he won't be the smug asshole that he is right now.
He'll be the all-around talent that was there every day and delivered.
Because he's only had one injury?
Yeah, like one. During the King of the Ring. Well, that wasn't really the King of the Ring either. It was best in the world, but whatever it was no, wait, did he actually, was that a real injury? Did he feign that?
No, that was a real injury. That was he had I want to say ACL.
The real one was at Backlash against Priest.
That one, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Well, he feigned the injury in Saudi for like the Best in the World tournament when Shane McMahon was running around with a trophy for no damn reason.
Oh, just you wait.
Speaking of those two people together, karma came around for that one. Yeah.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, to me, match of the night for night one.
Agreed. You can hit the bell on that one.
And I give him some applause too. Miz and Snoop Dogg, they heal each other at the proper time. I was really hoping to get LA Knight out there in LA, but not so much.
Austin decided not to make the flight.
And we had absolutely no Rocky sighting at all. Pat McAfee to the rescue. Pat McAfee defeats The Miz.
Do you realize there's at some point somebody's gonna have to tell the story about how this went wrong?
That's gonna be a great biography, 24/7. Dark Side. You put whatever bow you want to put on it, and just make sure you have like either Dwayne or some representation from that side.
Somebody gonna have to talk. If Roman starts a podcast, that needs to be episode 1.
What happened at 39?
Hey, matter of fact, we'll host it, The Island of Relevancy, starring Roman Reigns. We got this, bro. Don't even worry about it. We'll handle the production. Just chill. We got you.
And that podcast will be brought to you by a
whole lot of fucking gang shit.
Who's gang or don't bang? Because Rikishi put me on the set.
Speaking of the final match of night, and as to no surprise to no one, your winners, undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, KO Zania as I call them. Lots of really high-powered storytelling, especially from Sami Zayn in this match. And the irony is that Kevin Owens is already teasing a heel turn based on what we saw from the entrance on WrestleMania and at Monday Night Raw.
I told you. By the time we get to 40, it's gonna be them.
It's gonna be them.
It's gonna be them. Like,
I just hope it's for a title, because otherwise you wasted this.
They're not about to have an Usos level title run. They're not gonna reign for that long.
No, you gotta go over 2 years to make it happen.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that out of them. So at some point they lose. So what happens when they lose? Whose fault is it? Who's mad? Who's not? Are they just getting on each other's nerves? It's like, okay, well now we got to break up and have the match at 40. It's like, or is that already a part of the story? Because apparently this story's not over and there's still a bunch of levels to it.
Man, bang bang.
I mean, look, bang bang, no Cactus Jack.
Night two. Brock defeats Omos, which to me was a surprise because he got dog walked.
No. Expected. Like once Omos was the one who actually made it into the ring and they rung the bell, I knew what was going to happen. It's like, oh, okay, they really did just book this so Brock can do a 400-pound squat.
And that's it.
That's it. The whole match was about, can he power clean and then squat 400 plus?
And
but Omos is very much improved. I will give him his card. Omos showed up. He hit what he was supposed to hit. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got potatoed. He didn't look out of place. He's getting better. It's a thing where he performed well enough in this spot that you wouldn't have a problem with giving him another opportunity to do something else.
He definitely looked good enough to get something else. Yes.
So salute to Omos, and his ring gear was hidden.
But it's obvious that he needs a supporting cast around him, not just MVP. They need help to get him more over.
Well, if we can ever get this Hurt Business 4.0 thing launched, we might can get him some help.
Say it without saying it. The women's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag match was probably
that's a lot to say.
Probably the least interested the fans were all weekend, as you had Ronda and Shayna versus Liv and Raquel versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville.
And see, I can't even make the excuse that people were, crapping on the match just because of any type of veiled or out front sexism, because apparently women's sports was turned on Sunday.
Talk about it. So, and we're getting in more into that here in a second.
Yeah, I just got to figure out what to do better.
And that's what it is. Like, Ronda is not connecting with the crowd right now. Shayna could be gold, but Ronda ain't it. That's not the one.
She's the one. You just did it wrong.
No, well, there's that too.
You had the blueprint with Brock Lesnar. Do exactly what you did with Lesnar with her, because it's the same pedigree and the same real world qualifications. You start parading her out there every week like she was just random talent from the PC.
I think
she needed a mouthpiece and a better situation than this.
I think the biggest miss was when Lesnar was with Heyman, or Heyman was with Lesnar, that Ronda wasn't involved in some way, like especially with them both being from Minnesota.
Well, we know Heyman married up.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can't be out here with the girl they want to see you with when you know you got something better going on.
Sometimes you got to sport your pride. Walter, Sheamus,
that's
Drew.
tough. What is that?
Hey, that noted.
Yeah,
and that's your man's too. Walter, yep, it is. Yep. Walter, Drew, and Sheamus did not under-deliver. It definitely met the expectations.
What is it, like? Text me who, because I don't.
You know who it is. The same one we're trying to get a hold of now. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and I did put an APB out. We'll talk about that. That's a whole other conversation.
Right on. That's crazy.
It was a slap fest for Walter. And he's still Walter in this house.
I mean, that's all I needed.
Your winner and still, and looking like he's well on his way to 455. So that's the next one we want to. So between Roman getting to 1,000, which is going to be first up, and then you got Walter getting to 455 to knock out the Honky Tonk Man's record. Like, we got a lot of things to look forward to in the title picture.
455 for Walter is what?
Like when?
Yeah.
Roughly, let me go off the top of the head here. Roughly October, right around Survivor Series. It put them right around Survivor Series.
Oh yeah, that's easy work.
Matter of fact, do you know what it was at Mania? Like how many days it was at Mania?
It was, I want to say they said it. I know it was over 250.
Let's see.
That's all I know. We'd have to do our Googles.
All right, so as of
Cody got a death row chain from Snoop?
Nah, that's dope. If anybody can give it to him, it's him.
That's actually dope.
Okay, so Walter won. I can't believe I did that. Walter won the championship.
Yeah.
On June the 10th.
Careful, you'll get us canceled though.
June the 10th, 2022. Let's see here. So I'm about to do my Googles.
Wait, you said when? June 22nd?
June 10th, 2022. So
that's when he got it.
Yeah, so 455 days from then puts him at September the 8th, 2023. Now,
easy.
Wait, what day of the week is that on?
Friday.
Absolutely right.
We putting on a mother clinic.
You having a full-blown celebration. That means
he should be in the main event.
Because even if he loses, he's still number one on that day. The magic number is 454.
See? So you would be either tied or just. I like that. I love it.
Yeah. So he walks in beating Honky Tonk Man. So
peep this. Who? Because I feel like Walter should main event that episode of SmackDown in a very long. He should have a feature match. The whole episode should be built around this record being broken. Who's the opponent?
Ooh. Now you got me like my man, like
mixtape. I got one, but I don't know if he's gonna be there.
Montez Ford.
Okay, I can see that. I can see Tez getting a really good match with.
Let's go back. Let's go back and forth for.
We can get a 10-piece out of this easy.
Okay, so five apiece.
Yeah,
go.
So you got Tez.
I got Tez.
We've heard reports that, you know, there's some contract negotiations going on with may not work themselves out, especially after what happened the Monday after Raw.
Yeah.
And what we've been told is going forward. But if Drew is still there, Drew, and even better, if Drew is on his way out, it could be a, you know, title versus career match, and then that's how you say goodbye. I'm trying to book us into some money. That's all I'm saying. That's all I want to do.
All right, so I got Tez, you got Drew.
Who else?
I'm going to go Braun Breaker.
Ooh, I would have Braun be the guy to break the streak, to be honest, on some open challenge stuff.
I mean, that's 455. Why not do it when the record's already broken?
I like what you're doing right there. Hit the bell for yourself. I like what you're doing.
My bad. There you go.
You done good right there. Because we always know he'll sell to make a situation look the way it needs to look. Kung Fu Panda, Seth Rollins.
Bring him back to his glory. Give him back the belt that he made look famous, even though he didn't defend that son bitch. Give him a redo. Shin Splint Nakamura.
Well, there you go. I was going to say, I thought we was going back to, no, we're not. Seth ain't got to win nothing. I do like Nakamura, but you really are going to have to get him back on TV and start building some momentum with him.
Yep.
Because of the size disparity and because of Rico's ability to sell and fly, Ricochet.
Nice.
I mean, they had a really, really good match before, so I don't see why they couldn't have another one. They just... You know, I just got my next one. My next one finna shut this whole situation down.
And I'm glad that you feel that way. Here's
unless you steal it.
No, you're not expecting this one. There are reasons.
What I'm worried about.
There are reasons why this man deserves not just to win the title, but to do it in over someone who is an opponent that's worthy of this.
I'm gonna text you who I have lined up next. Well, at the end of the soliloquy.
Well, I'm done. I'm gonna tell you who I got. Ron Killings. R-Truth.
I did not expect that. Give me your reasoning on R-Truth, because you know they have to take him seriously for this.
He is at the tail end of his career.
Mending from injury.
The man is 50 years old, by God.
According to Roman Reigns, he's 63.
For former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, in which Michael Cole would not be afraid to say now.
This is true. Now, what I would love is if you book the match with R-Truth like it's going to be a night off for Walter, and about a quarter way through the match, Ron Killings kicks in.
Yeah, no shucking and jiving, no.
Like he really starts competing like a former world champion.
No hip thrust. Yeah, he shows you why he carried the 10 pounds of gold.
He can still play all the hits, but at the same time, it's not like I'm not looking for little Jimmy. I'm like trying to go hard. Pause.
All right, give me your number 4, Suave.
Dragunov.
I just saw your text, and I'm gonna hit the bell for you on that one. That is a monster. You want a big time situation. You bring back Walters. You bring back the guy who was wrestling Walter before he made the whole transformation. And you're gonna do it on free TV.
On free television. You giving them 30. You give them a 30 piece.
Because you already had that match not once but twice on NXT.
On a takeover and then on NXT UK.
And you know, Vincente Canadillo McManus does not play well with NXT, so he wouldn't give a shit how this match ends up on free TV as long as it delivers.
Adams.
Was that
Gomez Adams McMahon? Caramia.
See, last one.
He looks like the father of the Mario brothers. Antonio.
Antonio.
Antonio Mario.
Meet my sons Mario and Luigi.
Boy.
Let's go.
You know it's hard out here for a pimp.
Oh,
man. Trying to get the money for the rent.
He look like a white pip.
He looks like a DeBarge.
He looks like a DeBarge.
He looks like a DeBarge.
Oh man, Young Chico. Let's see here. Who do I want for number 5?
Yeah. It's real. You trying to make a new star? Trying to get an old star? What you trying to do?
Man,
I got another one.
I would love to see the MMA version of this guy come back and be serious as he once was, but I like Matt Riddle.
Okay. Okay. All right. I can see that. Kind of, sort of.
He said kind of, sort of.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. It depends. It really depends. Like there's got to be a shift in Matt Riddle's character now. Otherwise, it's just going to be, mid forever. I will tell you who I have for honorable mention, though, that will far exceed your Matt Riddle expectations. But go ahead with your last one. Is this my last one?
Yeah, it's number 5.
Let's see. Give me. Now I gotta make this one count. I thought I had 2 more.
I want to take mine back now.
Give me Damian Priest.
Okay. All right. I'm not sold on that. It works, but I'm not sold on it. Let me give you 2 honorable mentions. And honestly, if I had been thinking, I wouldn't have even named Matt Riddle. But I'm going to do this anyway because I like Riddle. Number 1, Chad Gable.
Chad Gable should get dog walk, but yeah,
he should, but also so should Ilya Dragunov in reality. But we know what they can do because of that. We know what kind of match we can get from Chad Gable to do.
But what I'm saying is Dragunov has been presented on television as being able to hang with Walter. Chad Gable has been presented as a joke with a couple of really good spots inside wrestling matches.
Yep. But same with R-Truth.
Yeah, but we've seen R-Truth actually be somebody somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
The only place we've ever seen Chad Gable be somebody is in a tag team with Jason Jordan. And
the other person I had in mind, Solo Sikoa. Let him get his first title run on the main roster.
Solo was on my list. You know who else is on my list? As an honorable mention? Pete Dunne.
He's coming back, right? As Pete Dunne, not Butch.
So I've heard. Don't know, but I've heard. Trying to think, do I have another honorable mention? Like somebody else that really matters? I kind of like to see what would happen. No, I take that back. I'm lying.
And you know they have to matter because that belt really does matter.
Right. I was gonna say Bobby Lashley, but I don't know if I want to see that. That's one of those, like, on paper it should be really good. I don't know if their styles mesh well enough. Because there's some stuff physically you should not be able to do to Bobby Lashley.
Absolute factuals. Bianca and Asuka. Bianca Belair. She comes out with a young dance troupe from Compton, and these girls show up and show out.
Facts. I had a girl dad moment. Like, it was, yeah.
The whole eye sweat thing, it happened to Suave during this, but it wasn't because of Big E. It was because of these little girls coming out here and making their mommies and daddies proud. And speaking of that, one of the girls in that troupe,
the contortionist.
Was it her?
Yeah.
Wow. The MVP of the whole troupe lost her mother Sunday morning. God bless.
Bruh.
God bless. And she did it with a smile on her face. Man, hold on, man. And just because how great the magnitude was, you also get this.
Price just went up. Price just went up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pipe down there.
There you go.
Snoop acts a fool again, and
Snoop had fun.
Well, here comes the money, and here comes genetics. Shane McMahon comes out to the ring.
Here comes the insufficient funds.
Does the shuffle and the rope-a-dope. Does a leapfrog and tears his quad.
So now that shit is like, that's in the DNA. And somehow it traveled from Vince and Shane to Stephanie, and Triple H caught it by proxy.
Man.
Are you kidding me?
What are the odds that the 3 male figures, and one of them is even blood related, all have quad tears? That is
apparently they're not skipping leg day. They're just not stopping leg day at the appropriate time.
So Snoop actually gets his first WrestleMania victory, as this match goes immediately from Shane McMahon to an improvised Snoop Dogg match.
Snoop with the save of the weekend,
boy,
because that could have been ugly.
And on camera, people forgot that Snoop wasn't even in the damn match, and then they forgot that Shane wasn't even in the damn match.
You alright, cuz? You gonna knock my homeboy out like that? Like, Snoop completely just saved the whole weekend with that.
You alright, cuz?
Yeah, that needs to be on a shirt. You alright, cuz?
You alright, cuz?
That's gold. I laugh so hard at Snoop.
That is gold.
The sins of the father.
On the flip side, Hell in a Cell, the return of the galvanized enclosed cage, Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor. Edge decides he wants to go ahead and get active. Finn ducks his head down, and you talk about split the coconut. Edge split that coconut to the white meat, legit.
Edge put a female reproductive organ on that man's skull.
They moved. Oh, wow. They moved Edge.
Go look, it's on his Instagram. You see how that? Yeah.
Edge actually moved himself away from where the doctors came in, and according to reports from very reliable sources, some of those in attendance, doctors came out with a men kit, injected what could possibly have been, the only thing I could think of in this situation is Novocaine,
a numbing agent,
into this man's skull.
Damn.
And provided the rescue of 14 staples to the dome piece.
Staples.
Not stitches. Staples.
Look, the only time I've ever heard of something wilder than that is Sabu super gluing his cuts closed in the midst of a barbed wire match because a piece of barbed wire sliced his bicep. Like, and look, even with all that carnage and gore, did Hell in a Cell not feel mid to you? Like, yes, it got disjointed because you had to take those breaks, but like the color-coded weapons underneath the ring, that was way too much, man. Like, it's like, okay, we got rid of the red cage, so now we'll get Crayola. Like, is Crayola the sponsor for this match? Give me my bamboo kendo stick. Give me my black chairs. That's all I need. This isn't difficult. This is not difficult. You got black, blue. The problem is, I'm sorry. You have red, blue, and purple. Yes, which is color coded with the demon. So, like, what are we doing? And not to mention SmackDown and Raw. Like, why? Somebody didn't. Those weapons were as bad as a red cage. The only thing that would have been worse is a blue cage. And then you did it in the middle of the day. Like, had we done this like after sundown, might have got a little bit more traction out of it. But I understand with the card stacked up the way it is like this, Hell in a Cell was never going to be close to the main event.
You waited as late as you possibly can, and I swear, I hope I never see another Hell in a Cell for at least 5 years.
Oh, you got a pay-per-view coming later this year, so you might well get ready for it. Hell in a Cell has gone from a way to the ultimate feud ender to, we're going to see it at least once a year no matter what. Doesn't matter who should be in it.
And it may not even matter. It may not even matter that a feud hasn't been built. It's just that we're just going to pull two names of the hat, throw them together, and you know what? Fuck it. We'll put you in the cell.
I mean, at this point, who actually has beef with somebody enough to be in Hell in a Cell? It's going to be Roman. Roman versus who? Are you gonna do Roman versus Cody 2 in Hell in a Cell?
You don't want to, because I'll tell you from a authenticity, and I throw that in air quotes, standpoint, people like Booker T go on record as saying that Hell in a Cell, no, it was the Elimination Chamber, but Hell in a Cell as well, takes years off your career. We saw that firsthand last year.
You saw that firsthand last weekend.
Oh, boy.
Say, man, like, head trauma was the last thing Finn Balor needed. And, it didn't even happen in the midst of trying something spectacular. It's like, literally, you threw a ladder in his face and skipped it off the front of his forehead. Why? Why, Adam? Why?
And then we fast forward to the match of night 2, and we have our obligatory ref bump. We have classic interference. But when it's all said and done, yeah, we've said his name before. Yeah, we've already let you know that it's
a whole lot of fucking gang shit.
Yeah, you see me throw my one in the air. But this is your daily acknowledgement. Your winner and still WWE Grand Champion.
It's cold lit.
Roman Reigns.
I'd like to take this opportunity to toot my own horn, because on episode 200, that peek behind the curtain was recorded very soon after Elimination Chamber. Told you, number one, you had less than 60 days to make Cody Rhodes not just a credible challenger, but turn him into the guy that's supposed to stop a 3-year title run. I also said Roman Reigns, because of the uniqueness of the position that he is in now, is our one and only opportunity to witness a 1,000-day title run in real time.
And I, for one, couldn't be more excited at the fact that we get to see 1,000 days. Because if we don't, I'm going to riot.
I mean, if you don't get to 1,000 days at this point, you're cheated. You cheated Cody and Roman. Now, here's a fun fact. Since we're counting days on the title reign, it's been calculated by some monkeys on the internet about how long Roman would have to hold the title to reach certain benchmarks. So to reach a 1,000-day title reign, it would be May 27th, 2023. Approximate PLE would be WrestleMania Backlash. So he's getting 1,000 days.
Oh, wait, hold on. May 27th, correct?
Yeah.
As I pull up my handy-dandy calendar and get it off of work.
So there's no PLE in April. Well, WrestleMania was the PLE in April, so you're right.
That's a Saturday.
Okay.
Monday night is Raw. That's be 1,002.
So that's probably okay. So that's where you start having the idea of like, is he gonna lose it? I don't know. Does he lose it on air quotes free TV? Because all of this stuff is.
When's the last time that's happened? Number one, two. Why wouldn't Homelander be able to do it on Memorial Day? It's actually a pretty good idea.
I mean, we've kind of had that going back and forth like that. Could have before Cody got hurt. that's kind of the area where we were thinking like it might happen.
We just weren't thinking
happen on an episode of Raw.
Yeah, we just weren't thinking it was going to be 1,000 days, but we were thinking like a holiday episode, like Labor Day, Memorial Day, something like that. And matter of fact, it was Labor Day, wasn't it? We were thinking like sometime around Labor Day because it's the top of the season. It was like the top of the season. Oh man!
Then there's an anniversary of when Dusty was supposed to win the title, but didn't.
Yep, and it was around Labor Day.
So we'd have to do our Googles. So that, I mean, it's possible.
Go in the archives. Look back about a year.
We'll do our Googles. Don't worry about it. So then so now we're not chasing days. We're just chasing specific title reigns. Pedro Morales has 1,028 days.
I have no idea how that happened.
Hey,
it was before my time, but I have no idea how that happened.
So Roman would need to hold the title till June 24th, 2023. That is a very special day for me. The approximate PLE that corresponds with it is Money in the Bank, which I've also said Money in the Bank is probably, other than booking a real top situation for SummerSlam, Money in the Bank is probably the next best way to get the title off of Roman, because there's the element of surprise. You'll be able to maneuver some things that just you normally wouldn't if you were just a regular challenger. Here's where we start to get, you have an
dicey
outside shot. Yeah, things get dicey. Now look, 1,000 days is a lock. I think Pedro Morales is a lock. I think it's safe to say that you can get there. Here's where it's
the easiest one to get to.
Easiest. Everything from here is going to depend on how far have they written the story ahead in time. Does anybody get extra hot, or does anybody get hurt? Those are the three things that are going to determine whether or not the rest of these have any shot at being accomplished.
Run them.
Bruno Sammartino, first title reign, 1,238 days. Roman would have to keep the title until January 20th, 2024. Essentially, he would have to keep the title until the Royal Rumble.
A week before the Royal Rumble.
So you're going to have to go into the Royal Rumble as champ. I'm not against it, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm not against it. Who gonna do better? Who gonna do better in that spot? Because the reality of this is being the WWE champion or the Universal champion or whatever, being the guy in the WWE is not a participation ribbon for coming to work.
Come on, man. Come on, Swan.
It's a job title given out based on a performance metric. You have the WWE hitting attendance records post pandemic. They're hitting the biggest gates 3 consecutive years in a row at WrestleMania. Like, all the numbers are up. He's got the best storyline on the best brand with the best faction and the best everything. So why?
Well, hold on. Let me back up real quick on that too.
Okay.
NOIEs have been in 15 WrestleManias? Was that the number? And Roman himself has main evented 6 of them?
Is he a six-star general now?
I believe it's 6 is his number.
31, 32, 33, 34. 35's not a main event. 36 he takes off. He's back for 37, 38, 39, 7. 7 stars. 7-star general. Which, okay, since we talk about 7-star generals and people running around, the next and most elusive number, the one I want him to catch but is likely not going to happen.
This is generational.
Good try.
This is generational too. Go ahead.
Good Try Terry has a title reign of 1,475 days to his credit. For Roman to beat that, he would have to keep the title until September 13th of 2024, next fall.
Which puts him past Labor Day by about a week.
And the PLE that corresponds with that would be Crown Jewel of 2024.
You said September the 14th?
13th.
So that's a Friday. That's last episode of SmackDown. Could also be labeled as a season premiere, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, again, if anybody gets hurt in the meantime, where like the guy you think is going to be the guy gets hurt, or, you know, something just happens, or you catch another wave where the story gets even better and it's just not time. It's possible, highly unlikely. These other two you just ain't getting to.
There's a number of ways that we can get to that, but
I agree.
We have so many different topics. Like I don't even want to shoot that horse yet, because like us giving that credence gives ammunition to make the situation happen, and I'm not really ready to have that conversation just yet. However, go ahead.
These last two are just so people know what the numbers are. We don't even I don't expect it to carry this long. Bob Backlund has a title reign of 2,136 days.
That is the longest consecutive title reign, or is that I'm sorry, no. San Martino was the longest consecutive, correct?
Yes.
Backlund is second. Go ahead, continue.
So Backlund, I think it was like a 6-year reign or something like that, something close to it. But in order for Roman to surpass that, he would have to hold the title until July 6th of 2026.
Jeez.
And then the end all be all, absolutely no way
this will never happen in our I don't think it's gonna happen in our lifetime, but continue.
Nah. Bruno Sammartino, title reign number 2, a total of 2,804 days. Roman would have to keep the title until May 4th of 2028.
Nah, man. How many days is this? 2000 how many days?
2028.
2028 days. It's approximately 5.5 years. 5.5 years as champion. Wow, that's crazy, bro. It's
another 5-piece on top of what he already got.
It's possible, highly unlikely, but very possible still.
You think Bruno Sammartino, him holding the title till 2028 is possible?
It's anything is possible. It's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely, highly improbable. We're talking about he would actually last another contract cycle. He would finish the deal he's on now and start another one and almost be done with it.
He could possibly retire as champion if he held the belt for 2,029 days.
I mean, at that point, does he just become like The Undertaker? I'm only defending the title once a year.
He becomes Lord at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm only stepping out for WrestleMania. I'm only defending the title at WrestleMania.
NXT,
that's it.
NXT, you my children. I gave birth to all you.
He's the new streak. First person since Good Terry to defend the same World Heavyweight Championship through the same run at 3 consecutive WrestleManias. What type of respect is we not putting on this man's name?
The largest gate
in WrestleMania history.
In wrestling history.
Well, I mean, you know, I didn't think that had to be said. Where else were you going to get a bigger gate?
Oh, there's one more piece of this whole match too between him and Cody. People don't realize the forbidden door swung wide open in this match.
And we had a superstar unmasked on television for the first time.
Michael Cole announced that the son of John Huber, aka Luke Harper, aka Brody Lee, was in attendance to support Cody Rhodes.
For those of you who are AEW fans, -1.
-1 of
who is signed to AEW.
That's
he is an AEW. He has basically like a futures contract.
AEW futures contract. So when he turns 18, if he decides that he wants to become a professional wrestler, he will do so at AEW. Even if it is a futures contract and he is technically unable to perform by labor laws under contract, he is still a signed talent of AEW.
He's a contracted talent.
This is the first time we've ever seen a contracted talent to AEW on WWE programming while contracted to AEW.
And he did it at
WrestleMania, front row, taking Cody Rhodes' belt. Friendship be damned.
He's the answer to a trivia question now. He is.
He better deliver when he grows up. He better.
He's already delivered. He's giving you a moment that can't be replicated.
It cannot. No one's ever done it. No one probably will ever do it. I mean,
he was the first. So yeah, there's that. Let me go ahead and take this opportunity to say I'm maybe I'm not 1 foot out of the car just yet, but I have the door open on Bray Wyatt. Like I'm thinking about getting out of the car. And it's not because of the the perspective of, well, I take it back because I can't necessarily blame Bray Wyatt for this just yet until I know for certain. But the fact that Bobby Lashley missed WrestleMania because he was entangled in some sort of a potential feud with you, like that's a stain on your record that I can't wipe off. So
we don't know how many people were hurt by that and like were stifled at the fact that WrestleMania didn't happen for Bobby Lashley or you for that matter, because Bo Dallas.
And then the other part of it is just like, okay, bruh, who and create what? Like, what's Plan B? Like, you couldn't come up with a Plan B for Bobby Lashley for as much as he's done over the last year.
The best you can do for him is the Andre.
That's not good enough, and it wasn't even on the pre-show. It's on the SmackDown before.
You brought him out
like you
just paraded him on the show to say he was on the card.
I'm not okay with that.
Bobby loves to fight. Like it'd be different if he was like a safe guy and all he wanted to do was play safe the rest of his career. Bobby wants to fight. He's a fighter by birth.
You didn't even give my guy like an open challenge. You didn't like nothing. Like they talked about him having an open challenge for WrestleMania. I don't know if it was like because of the card started to run long or whatever. Never got to that part. So it's like Bobby Lashley missed the WrestleMania and didn't have to.
You had
so I'm holding Bray Wyatt partially responsible until I get a better explanation.
You had a match for him with somebody else who was begging for a damn match at Mania, who deserved one.
Who that?
LA Knight. He earned a spot in WrestleMania after the fact that he had to do that damn that Mountain Dew dark whatever the fuck match.
That's another stain on his record. But I'm not geeked. I wouldn't be geeked up to see LA Knight versus Bobby Lashley.
You know who would have been though?
But that feels like it's just thrown together. But I get it. Both of them would have been happy to be on the card.
And LA would have popped for LA Knight because they wanted him anyway because it was in LA. Not that he's from there, but they don't know why this is the case. But LA has gravitated towards LA Knight.
Ooh, I'm okay with that. He's talented.
Yes.
We've seen that in other places. He's just being booked as a fall guy a lot of the time. But like, okay, you could have had open challenge with Bobby Lashley and challenge accepted by Shinsuke Nakamura. That way, the whole stadium gets to sing Shinsuke's music. You probably get a pretty decent match out of it. And
who we have seen for the first time on WWE TV since the promos of him going to Japan for Great Muda's last match.
Shinsuke been taking foodie pics in restaurants all across the country, but we ain't seen him on television wrestling since when? We haven't seen him on
WWE TV since I think November of last year.
I don't know. I felt like he had a match not that long ago.
It was right after the announcement of the Muda match that he disappeared from WWE TV, and we haven't seen him back on SmackDown since.
Hold on, because I think we might have missed an appearance. When was the last time Shinsuke Nakamura wrestled on TV? Question mark.
He was last seen fighting for the SmackDown World Cup in November. His performance against the Great Muda at Noah New Year's 2023 event added speculation about him shifting to greener pastures in Japan. November.
Yeah. I could have swore he came out on SmackDown like not that long ago.
I wish he would have came out just to not speak English.
Make Nakamura great again.
Please.
At this point, I mean, that's kind of what we're left with. If we're going to salvage anything about this run, we're going to have to get creative. And it feels like someone should be selling us ours. We gave you the logic with Roman, and I told you this not the time. It's not. It ain't. I'm sorry.
Well, Suave,
we didn't have enough time.
You can tell them where to send it.
For a nominal fee,
soon to be
a phenomenal fee, we will slice off some of this broken pencil logic and knowledge and put it on your plate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
The news of the week, the wait is over. The courting is done. We saw a picture of one Vicente Canadillo McManus, and he has reclaimed his throne as the executive chairman of WWE, as it's now been sold.
McMahon.
El Chapo McMahon. 49% of the company still belongs to WWE, but 51% of WWE now belongs to Endeavor.
Vince Classic.
Endeavor is the company that owns the UFC.
Well, grand opening, grand closing, fam.
And as we go into Monday Night Raw and we end the WrestleMania weekend, we hear rumblings on Sunday night, we hear the official news on Monday, and we expect the Raw after Mania to be the biggest Raw of the year. The first hour was commercial free, in which we had one match, Omos versus Elias, in which Elias basically was unalived in the ring.
Pure, unadulterated, uncovered, unwashed facts.
We had one superstar return, and it wasn't even a surprise because he's contracted talent. It was Matt Riddle.
And no AJ Styles, no Brian Cage, as the internet just had.
No Matt Cardona.
Yeah, none of that. No Matt Cardona. No who else? Who else was rumored to be out here floating? No Jay White.
No AJ back.
Yeah, mention that one.
Oh, Jay White. Oh.
Yeah, no Switchblade.
Jay White shows up not only in a surprise capacity on AEW Dynamite, but immediately afterwards gets hit with the All Elite graphic. So it's official.
They had that queued up, fam.
Yeah,
he wasn't stepping foot on AEW television without that contract signed. What the hell you mean?
Boy.
Shout out to AEW. Looks like they might have a FTR staying.
Hold that thought. We'll get to Wednesday in a second. Yeah. But the main event
is we gonna deal with all of Wednesday or just the high point?
Just the high, we hitting the high notes.
I'm with you.
The main event on Monday. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes.
So you realize the best thing about Monday night was a bait and switch?
Brock Lesnar hadn't wrestled on TV in a tag match in 14 years, which I pointed out to Suave. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe not to Suave, but I pointed out to a few people, like, something ain't right. Brock don't wrestle for free.
Ever.
You're a winner and still not wrestling for free. The contract champion of the world, Brock Lesnar, as he beats the living dog shit out of Cody.
I'll kick your ass to set up some money later on, but I'm not wrestling for free.
I was some people were clamoring the high praises of heel Brock. I don't care if he's cheered. I don't care if he's booed. I don't care if he's a tweener. Suave, I'm with you. I'm a Brock guy.
I like Lesnar. Lesnar gives me violence.
Brock means business. That's it. Brock means business.
Violence, an air of unpredictability. I know when Brock Lesnar's involved, there's an opportunity that somebody's going to come up short.
And in this case, it's Cody.
Super short.
And it also looks like...
I'm cool with this.
And it also looks like that Cody just got knocked down a couple of rungs on that ladder to Roman.
No, okay. So a lot of people are going to hate the whole idea of we're going to tear Cody down to build him back up. But like, that's his story. He has a flair for the dramatic. This is where he's going to thrive. He's already 100% better than where he started for having to deal with Brock Lesnar. So now you've made him the sympathetic babyface because he didn't cash in at WrestleMania. So now the people are obviously like in an uproar. And part of that is like, it's this unspoken, veiled nonsense about they don't want Roman as champion. And they'll come up with 1,000 reasons, but there's a real reason they don't want him champion that we all know. And so he's already got that segment of the audience behind it. The people that don't realize he's half Cuban. But you got that, and you have this, like, there's this hate pocket for Roman Reigns for the reason we all know he has a hate pocket. And Cody's the biggest babyface you have going on. Like, who's a bigger babyface than Cody right now?
Nobody. In fact,
who's number 2? Who's number 2? Who's your number 2 face in that company? Sammy? Sammy in a tag team.
He's in tag team. He's busy.
The Bloom is kind of, it's like he went from piping hot to, okay, I don't have to put this in the microwave. It's warm enough. Because he's had his world title match, lost. He completed his part of the story, and it looks like he's, about to be on the off ramp towards another turn, or being the bait of another turn. So, yeah, like who's your second top babyface?
That's really hard to call, man. I mean, I don't want to say Tez because he's busy too. Singles wise, like, is it Sheamus?
No, thank you. It would be Drew if you put a pen on some paper.
Is it Seth? Because Seth ain't even a face. He's just cheered.
Exactly. Seth is an enigma right now. And he emotes.
Oh man, don't get me started on emoting. So, you know how I feel about emoting. Right. Let's see here. What else we got? Jay White shows up on Wednesday. Tony Khan's big announcement is the fact that Nigel McGuinness, shouts out to Nigel McGuinness, one of the dopest from the UK. He's actually a commentator for ROH and is backstage reporter for AEW. I love the fact that he's back. They announced that AEW is performing in Wembley Stadium August the 27th, I believe, for AEW All In.
It's a lot of tickets to sell. I hope they do. I hope they figure out how to do it. I would love to see it.
I don't want to be wrong on this. I'm sorry. I don't want to be right on this. I really hope to be wrong on this. But let's think about this. In May, we have Double or Nothing. In June, you have Forbidden Door. In July, Fight for the Fallen, which is not a pay-per-view, but it's an event that's becoming as high up there as these other 4 events AEW puts on per year, or now 5 events AEW puts on per year. And then typically a week behind the same time that they're going to be in Wembley is All Out. You mean to tell me you got enough time to sell tickets to an event that doesn't even exist yet, but you still got to be able to build enough story and buy-in between now, which is April the 7th, and May and August? Like you got all these events. You got enough time to build enough story to pack in 90,000 people in a market that you've never been to?
You just said what I was gonna ask. Like, what's the capacity of Wembley Stadium?
90,000.
What exactly do you have, or what do you think you have that will sell that many? Sell half that many tickets.
If I'm really being honest, they can say whatever they want to about the talent that they have. Max ain't 45,000. There's nothing on that roster that can compete with Roman Reigns. I hate being that guy. But when the bar is that high, go ahead, Suave, please.
But see, I'm not even gonna be that guy, because like, okay, SoFi did 81 for this. So basically, you have to have a WrestleMania type situation.
Say it again. Say it again.
You need a WrestleMania type situation to pull off 90,000, because WWE just did 81 back-to-back nights in SoFi with the card they had. So I'm like, CM Punk was good for 20, but he ain't there right now, and it don't look like they gonna mend fences unless we're all being supremely worked. It doesn't look like they're gonna mend fences enough for this to actually work out. So like, are you gonna do like a joint show with somebody else, or what is it?
Yeah, so all in will be anybody who's available that's not WWE.
There's not that much star power floating around out here to make that happen.
And that's my point.
I don't care if you go throw 5 M's at Goldberg, like, you're not finna get 90,000 people off of Goldberg.
There's nothing that I want to see from AEW that says I want to be a part of something that's going to have 90,000 people there. And I still hope they get it. I mean no disrespect. You and I went to a 6,000 to 7,000 seat arena to watch a match that should have been packed to the rafters, but only had 2,500 to 3,000 people there, with FTR versus the Briscoes. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. And it was under the AEW umbrella.
I hope. Yes, because there's an extremely large concentration of wrestling fans in the Metroplex. It's a WrestleMania weekend, and it's literally the most
anticipated
match. Yeah, anticipated tag match in who knows how long.
And goes down as one of the greatest trilogies in the history, simply because of the passing of Jay Briscoe, and not to take away from the talent, because the match we went to was absolute fire.
Facts. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what are you gonna pair with this? Is there gonna be like a football game that goes on here at the same time?
Tea and crumpets, fish and chips. You're gonna pair it with
like dead ass. Like, are the Jaguars gonna play before? Like, how are you planning to do? I want to know how you're gonna get 50. Don't tell me how you're gonna get 90,000. Tell me how you're gonna get 50.
And that's 2 weeks before the season, before the main season starts, before the actual regular season starts. So if the Jaguars playing a preseason game over there, doesn't even make sense.
I mean, it makes sense if you're trying to get extra people in the building, but it doesn't mean they're going to stay for wrestling, or that they're going to be receptive to wrestling.
And you have to still get the crowd here because we're talking like a 6 to 7 hour time difference depending on your time zone here.
Who could you possibly put in? Like, what? Give me something. Give me something to go on. Like,
I got nothing.
Where you would?
I got nothing. I have nobody who is going to be, and I don't know contract situations over in Stanford, so don't get me on that. But I have nobody that I have enough faith in to say that they can be at the top of that list to pack 90,000, including Phil Brooks.
How many people were in Cardiff for Clash at the Castle? 70?
I would say closer to 80, but yeah, let's see here. Clash at the Castle. We're going to pull that up here. 62,296.
Okay. So, and that was basically a homecoming for Drew. And then sprinkle in some Tyson Fury, and then you got Sheamus and Vulture. So you got a lot of Euro Strong style centric guys.
Yeah. People who cut their teeth over there and people who could drive or catch a train to watch their heroes.
I don't know. Drew can't be the reason you're doing it, because you wouldn't do that for somebody who isn't quite out the door yet. Like, that's not a guarantee, because they throw the right bag at him, he's not going anywhere.
Not just quite out the door, you have absolutely no idea if you can even retain him. Or acquire him in their case. Even if so, we'll say hypothetically Nigel McGuinness is clear to return to the ring. Drew Galloway goes to AEW. Is that selling 90,000?
Nope.
This ain't Brett and Dynamite Kid or Davey Boy Smith forever.
It's a homecoming for Saraya. Had you waited and made Saraya's comeback match here, that would have been good for something.
If you work on Car Gilbert and or DMD with her, but you blew both of those opportunities because you got Saraya.
That would have been dope. Like Saraya coming back and she ends the streak, Car Gilbert streak in Wembley. That kind of makes sense.
And Car Gilbert is cemented. She's cemented in the DNA of AEW with that.
Davey Boy Jr. is back in MLW. Ain't no ticket movers out here on the street. Like, there are no ticket movers out here, just roaming free.
I don't think you're going to sign any between now and then either. That's the thing.
Willie G is the only one, and I don't think you have an opponent for him.
I don't even want to see that.
I don't either, but I'm like, you know me. You know what I'm going to say. Yo, but I'm trying to figure out where the business coming from, but another day, another time.
Yeah, we got time between now and then to get this out the way. But if you have ideas of who you think can pack this out, please enlighten us, because we mean no disrespect. We just don't think it's possible, and we really hope we're wrong.
I want to be wrong. Look, even if they don't get the 90, I would love to see them to get I want them to get past the halfway point. So 45, I want to see them hit 50. If you can get 50, I'm happy for you, because I've seen you do 20.
And you can make it. And you can make it. You can't make 20 look good. This ain't the 80s AWA. You can't make 20,000 in the stadium look good. You can make 50 in the stadium look good, but you can't make 20 in the stadium look good. Tell us who you think can help get us to a decent viewing space where the crowd looks it looks presentable. It looks the part. It looks packed, if you will. Show at BrokenPencilBC.com, BrokenPencilBC@gmail.com. It's at BrokenPencilBC on all things social, at BrokenPencilBC on what?
Everything.
Let's see here. We're missing something.
If you're on audio, you got bonus stuff coming.
There it is.
What you got?
There it is. Yeah, it's you know what it is. It ain't over. It ain't over.
Straight like that.
Families is all I'm going to tell you. Before we hit this 10 bell, Suave.
Yeah.
Take us to the house.
Pencil pushers. Heads up. Pencils down.
And for my religious folk, Ramadan Mubarak and Happy Easter.
Well, look at you being cultured.
You know what I'm saying? All right. And Yeah, 10 bell, here we go. Rest in peace, Bushwhacker Butch. Yeah. And we rolling already. Broken Pencil Booking Company, Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip-hop. This is another tournament time. You dig?
This sounds like the most unsolved mystery of all time.
It kind of is, though, when you think about it.
When it comes to the paternity of 44-year-old...
You are not.
Oh, no. I don't even think you can recoup child support that far after the fact. Can you? I don't know. Someone message us at Broken Pencil BC on all things social and let us know. What's the statute of limitations on collections?
The family's tournament.
The 23andMe tournament.
The 23andMe Invitational. Now, let's for context.
That youngin.
Out of family. For full context,
Okay.
we understand that there are some people. Oh, before I go into detail, I'm pardon my rudeness. I am Wood.
You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Yes, he is. For full context, full disclosure, there is a we're going to have some conversations about certain people and their validity. This ain't about all that. This is about what you know when you turn on that TV screen, whether you were 18 or 80.
What you know and what you can prove.
Untouchable. Shouts out above the law. Rest in peace, go back.
That's it. There are only two things that matter: what you know and what you can prove.
Oh man, it couldn't be any truer. I think that's out the way. It's simple. What you know, what you can prove, and are they family? Are they family?
So look, we did not play ourselves in this situation. There are certain family situations that we just completely avoided. We
Swab. Is that a nice way of saying
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.
not quite, because these are the ones we sniffed out and we absolutely kept outside. So Kane, The Undertaker, and Paul Bearer will not be involved in this tournament.
They could be though.
They will not.
They will
be
not be
involved
part
in
of
this
this
tournament. Edge and Christian will not be a part of this tournament. Bo nor Blake, neither of the Beverly brothers, are in this tournament. Who else? Who else out here living a lie?
Hawk and Animal will not be in this tournament.
Hey, while you bullshitting, Hawk and Animal might be closer brothers than fucking Animal and Johnny Ace. So, I mean, just chill.
I can relate.
But and if you can relate to this tournament. Run it down for them.
All right, so 16 families, not to be confused with the Grove Street families. 16.
Chill, Dom. Chill.
16
Take it
professional
easy,
wrestling
bro.
families, and we put them in our BPBC randomizer as we always do.
About this time.
Some of these first round matchups you will not like. Some of
You ain't
these,
gotta like it, but you gonna love it.
some of these second round matchups you won't even understand why they are so early. Don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They're random.
It's random, baby. It's random. Hey, look, you know we out here using real player criteria around here. We not giving nobody the fast exit. We're not giving nobody the shaft pause. What we're doing is we are looking at professional resume.
You had to have at least 3 members of your family participate in the business.
You need 3 people to qualify as a family. So a couple of them other ones like Bo and Blake, they didn't have nobody else. It'd have been no.
Well, Bo and Blake did have somebody else. The problem was they wasn't brothers to begin with.
Then there's that.
That's the issue.
Now we do realize with some of these families that are on this list, there may be some inconsistencies in DNA, but at least, or are we gonna say at least 3 people need to be related?
Nah, I'm looking at one. It's only going to be 2.
Okay, at least 2 people. 2 people.
We don't need to deal with accusations. Oh shit!
Especially false accusations. So look, that's it. That's it. 2 people in the crew, in the lineage, need to be related.
And please believe, if it's just 2, one of them better be stellar.
Facts. Yeah. You're gonna have done more than taking the 3-second tan on WCW Saturday Night.
Like
93.
Just because you got signed to NXT don't mean that you're actually showing up on TV.
Chill. Everybody just take a minute to relax. Your professional resume, what is you done did? What is you done did? How long is you had been doing it? So that's the other one. What you done did, the means by which all of you are related. How long you been doing this?
Let me. We've been dropping seeds. Let me go ahead and just get this out the way here real quick. So,
what you got?
Bo and Blake Beverly, the Beverly brothers, were not brothers. However, Blake Beverly has a son that's in NXT now named Von Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean shit.
Now, had they all been on TV as a clique together, they would have qualified.
But the Beverlys
would have qualified.
The Beverlys only won an AWA World Tag Team Championship one time.
It'd have been a quick exit, but they'd have qualified. Well, see, no. They'd have had the name. The kid's last name would have had to been Beverly to continue the situation.
Aha. And neither one of their real names is Beverly, or even related. Like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, they only compete as Beverly in one entity. So yes,
you have, and that's the other part. You have to carry the name and lineage. You have to. If it's not being carried through, generation to generation, then you're not a part of the lineage, which basically makes the name lose value.
And prepare yourself. You're going to throw something at your listening device of choice.
I wouldn't give it
on one of these names. Don't care.
Nah, because at the end of the day, we picked this list because this is who we wanted on it.
No further ado, Suave. You ready to go ahead and drop this first round matchup?
Run the play.
All right. And our most interesting round. Golly. These first 2 matchups are going to be enough to make me want to just reshuffle the tournament. But we ain't going to do that.
Somebody going home early shit. They probably should have been like a Final 4.
In your first round,
what you got?
I guess you can consider this your daily acknowledgement.
Oh shit!
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.
It's about to be a short day for somebody.
The NOIE family taking on, because big Texas, the Von Erichs.
Really?
Wow. Yes.
Oh, damn it, bro. Oh, man. And they're making a movie about you guys and everything.
They have literally mimicked certain aspects of their life for a TV show.
I will keep this 100% respectful because there's always an opportunity to make jokes. That I will not do here. We'll just run down what we know. It's what you know and what you can prove. Both families ran their own regional territory promotion. One in Hawaii, one here in Dallas, Texas.
Both affiliated with the NWA.
Hit the bell for them. One has a bunch of kids and the other has a bunch of kids.
That all wrestle.
They all wrestle. One has male and female wrestlers. The other one just has male. One has one world champion. And how many on the other side?
Are we counting tag teams as well?
No. Just world heavyweight champions first.
At least 2.
Hey, look, I'm supposed to play a record for you.
At least 2 on the other side.
Mm-hmm. So it's a little closer. Not quite the disparity that you might think. Maybe number of title reigns would absolutely have disparity.
Now, if we really want to get active, there's one person who's always the wild card in the other family, and we could up it from 2 to 3. Legitimately.
I do hear what you're saying too. Hold that. I don't think we'll need that, but hold on.
Yeah, we don't need it, but it's there in case.
Yeah, we don't need that in round 1, but you put a pin in that. You have one family who's having a movie made about them. The other family has a handful of movie stars in it.
I would say they are the movie industry.
They are cinema right now. I'm gonna choose the NOI family, and no disrespect to the Von Erich or Atkins family.
Atkinson.
Yeah, no diet. Yeah, but I think that's pretty fair. That's fair to say. I would say the NOI family has a more dominant footprint.
Yeah,
in the architecture of professional wrestling. I think that's fair to say.
I would venture to side with you on that one.
All right.
It's not it's shameful that this had to go down this way in the first round. But
anybody else against the Von Erichs, you probably getting walked down.
We have a longer conversation about a lot of other things, and it probably leads to a next round entry for the Von Erichs. This ain't that though.
Because the Von Erichs were in Dallas when Dallas had that nightlife, oil money, and cocaine.
Fam, do you understand? Flowing. Do you understand? They actually put the Dallas Alley on part of the opening for the World Class Championship Wrestling theme music, like the intro.
Oh, I do know.
And if you don't know what Dallas Alley is, it's just a random like cavalcade of just bars and nightclubs where nothing but debaucherous shit happen.
Oh, what a time to be alive! Drink yours and drink mine. See, people don't realize how poppin' Dallas was in the 80s. Do you realize that I've never seen this done to this degree with any other movie? Do you realize the movie RoboCop was filmed here?
Yes.
And they tried to pass Dallas off as Detroit.
And you can't do that. Futuristic Detroit, no less. And included Reunion Tower, which... Fam.
You wouldn't go to Detroit and shoot. You came here because of everything we just named and said, fuck it, we'll just make them believe it's Detroit.
I want to know, I want to talk to anybody that was involved in the making of that movie, how much they actually kicked it offset. That's all I want to know.
I have one person I can ask.
Oh shit! There we go.
I'll tell you about it off the air.
Please,
yes,
please do.
Absolutely have someone that can answer that question.
We need stories for your next round. Well, for your next matchup in the first round. You ready?
Okay, let's go.
The McMahon family.
Whoa.
Versus the Armstrong family.
Armbar.
Now, Bullet Bob Armstrong, Brad Armstrong,
Scott
Armstrong, Brian James Armstrong.
Oh, you didn't know?
Like, you're talking one of the greatest territorial baby faces in the history of professional wrestling. Even if you never saw him, you knew anytime he popped up on your TV screen, he was going to get cheered. Brad Armstrong, one of the greatest work rate wrestlers to never win a major championship.
Facts.
Scott Armstrong, he and Tracy Smothers, one of the dopest tag teams that they were one of the most underused tag teams, so they were a great unit.
It's when you grow up and realize that they were dressed as two Confederate soldiers. Now I take great pleasure in watching them get their ass kicked in every match.
Man, I'm trying to be objective here, Suave.
I understand. I get that. I'm just saying that's an anecdote from me being totally transparent. Like watching them get beat up by the Freebirds, who you're supposed to air quotes hate, but then to grow up and realize this is just infighting.
Right. The irony.
The irony taking place right now. This man painted his face like a Confederate flag, and these two guys are dressed up like Confederate war heroes.
Oh, man.
Fuck it, just fight it out.
4 men enter, 2 men leave. That's it.
Don't even matter which two. It could be one from each side.
Meanwhile, we have Vincent J., the owner of and founder of Capital Wrestling Corporation, to be transformed into the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, which became the World Wrestling Federation, which begot World Wrestling Entertainment and his son, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, which begot his son, Shane McMahon, and daughter, Stephanie McMahon, which begot a marriage to Paul Levesque, a.k.a. Triple H. And we can't forget about Linda McMahon and her contributions to the family business.
And the air that you're breathing right now.
This podcast arguably would not exist if it weren't for this family.
You got a hell of a point. I still think we probably could have existed just on what we saw regionally, but in the grand scheme of things, yeah.
Would we be as important or as impactful?
Certainly not. Because if they never come along, then professional wrestling stays one place. And I don't know if it ever... I don't know if
I could be a bigger weirdo than what I am right now. What's up, Los?
It's possible. You can give us a little bit more money. I'd show you how to be more of a weirdo.
H1 ADB.
Shirt that shit. Oh, yo, absolutely. I go into seclusion on your motherfuckers think I'm Teddy from fucking from Atlanta.
Boy.
I'm just a fucking 50-room mansion. I'm in one room the entire day playing fucking Xbox.
I mean, I can give you one reason why we can knock the Armstrongs out of here, outside of the ones I gave.
Okay.
WrestleMania 1.
Well, then there's that.
Your winners moving to the next round, the McMahon family. Hey, next, boy. If this.
Oh, wait. Answer this question for me, though.
Yes, sir.
So, this reign of terror from the McMahon started with Vincent J, right?
Yes. No. It started with Vincent K after the takeover. Vincent J was a gentleman and worked on gentlemen's agreements and wanted no one to step on the toes of the other territories.
Man, you think Jay ain't had nobody jade outside of Madison Square Garden by some money? Keep it 100 with me.
I believe he did, but who am I?
Jay ain't got no dirt under his nails.
This was a dirty business out there.
That's all I'm saying. So to do business, you gonna have to get dirty.
I really want to know people who were around when he was, doing his business. If there's anybody left to give us an episode of The Dark Side, just based on Vincent J's doings behind the scenes.
That's cold. Well, now the moment's passed. Well, I'll circle back to it because the McMahons aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Go ahead.
No, that gives you more content for later. The next round matchup, or the next matchup in the first round, apropos that this one is actually on here in this form, we saw it for a couple of decades.
Uh-oh.
And it made for some of the best super regional television we had ever seen, with two of the greatest Mike Smiths to ever grace the microphone. Arguably the two greatest Mike Smiths to ever grace the microphone in pro wrestling. The Rhodes family versus the Flair family. How the hell did this happen on a random shuffle?
You had one job.
You told me to stop.
I told one job. You had one job, is to make sure this shit didn't go off the rails in round one. And look at here.
Oh, there's more. Oh,
where
there's
the rails
more.
at? We off of them.
There's more. Well, anyway, we have multi-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion Dusty Rhodes.
Big Dust.
One-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion and Cody Rhodes.
Stardust.
We have multi-time Intercontinental Champion and not only Cody Rhodes, but also Dustin Rhodes.
Mo Dust.
The Natural.
Oh, natural, baby. Thwack 'em. Fruit of my loins. Fruit of my loins. Thwack 'em, baby.
What else can I say about the Rhodes family?
Whole lot of championships, whole lot of booking. War Games exist because of Dusty Rhodes.
Starrcade exists because of Dusty Rhodes.
Clash of the Champions exists because of Dusty Rhodes. Halloween Havoc exists because of Dusty Rhodes.
The Bunkhouse Stampede, a match that was so dangerous they had to stop it. Dusty Rhodes.
I'm just saying, bro.
And
it's a whole bunch of pimping you ain't gonna get if Dusty Rhodes ain't involved.
And then we had to go to the Flair family.
I just said something, it triggered something in my mind. I've already decided who's won this round. Go ahead.
Nature Boy Rick, arguably 19-time World Heavyweight Champion. On the books, apparently now we're down to 17-time World Champion.
Yeah, because we can't get 6 more title runs out of Cena. That motherfucker had to lose that bitch twice a week.
You did. Then we also
drop the bitch on Friday, drop the bitch on Monday, get it back in the last segment on Monday, drop the bitch at the beginning of the show on Friday, and win it back by the end.
Then
for a whole month.
Then we have what I believe is 13-time women's champion Charlotte Flair, arguably the greatest women champion of all time, and also David Flair, who had a couple of U.S. title runs. And if you really want to get outside, Andrade,
he was a world tag team champion too with Crowbar.
There you go. You have Charlotte Flair, who's married to Andrade El Idolo, former NXT champion,
Triple A legend,
man, and also another Flair who is who's not in the wrestling business, is married to one Conrad Thompson,
who some refer to as the most powerful man in podcasting.
there you go.
So I mean, yeah, in the professional wrestling space, he owns quite a bit of real estate. Just think of Yellowstone in reverse.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. Just think of Yellowstone in reverse, and that's what they got going on over there.
Conrad Dutton over this bitch.
For real. We're going to take all this barren land and make it all mini malls. We going to the coast with shopping centers.
Well, I talk shit about pro wrestling, and my father-in-law just happens to be one of the greatest story owners of all time.
How can I make some money with this?
Man. For this one here, off of influence, not to mention, Cody was one of the founding fathers of a whole organization that's now that jumped up to be number 2 to compete against Vince in AEW. I'm going with the Rhodes family. What you got?
I'm also going with the Rhodes family, but it's for this reason. The top draw in the Flair family, then, now, and forever, most likely, is Ric Flair, right?
I would have to agree.
Highly regarded as possibly the greatest of all time. Who did Ric Flair start out trying to be?
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. In fact, that leads us into our next round, because our next matchup, because Flair wanted to become a member of the Rhodes family in kayfabe. Say less.
Fool. Close, don't keep moving. All right. Rambling Ricky Rhodes was a thing. I have never seen Dusty Rhodes come out and call himself anything other than Dusty Rhodes. He was never Dusty Flair.
The only other time he ever came out and did not address himself as Rhodes was one time in a promo where he came out as his government name to address Stephanie McMahon. I remember one time there's an episode of World Championship Wrestling where he addresses Virgil Runnels while he's in character.
Say, man, some of that old TNA footage is just gonna be dope, just because you can get Dusty without anybody else's control other than what the fuck he does or doesn't want to say.
Dusty was everywhere. He was in ECW. He was in Impact. He was in NWA. He was in the AWA.
He was fun in ECW, and I don't think I ever heard him cut a promo in ECW, but he was fun.
Florida Championship. He cut his teeth in Florida. Oh man, he was literally all over the place. In our next matchup, the Anderson family.
Anderson
versus the Poffo family. Wait, who are the Poffos? Oh, funny. They're more than. Just let me tell you who the Poffos are. We have the father, the late Angelo Poffo.
Mm-hmm.
You have the late Leaping Lanny Poffo, aka the Genius. You also have the late Macho Man. Ooh, yeah. As I stand on my tippy toes and circle my finger towards the sky, cream of the crop. Randy Savage.
Yes.
That's the Poffo family. Anderson.
Randy Poffo.
I was talking a lot of shit in the rules and the intro of this about family members and things of that nature. This is what I was talking about with the Andersons. You have the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, which consisted of Gene Anderson and Ole Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Along comes Arn Anderson. We can take it to the 90s. We pick up C.W. Anderson. Oh, and then there's Ken Anderson.
Uh-huh.
And then we have the man with the hot Asian wife, Machine Gun Carl Anderson.
Anderson Silva and Anderson Paak.
They're all Andersons.
Anderson Cooper. All of them. All of them. They're all related. Every last one of them.
They're all related. They won't tell you that. And of course, if you really want to be particular about it, we can throw in Brock Anderson just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, him too. Wait. Did you get Glock Anderson too?
That's Arn Anderson's alter ego, Glock Anderson.
Okay, so he
or as I call him, Armed Anderson.
Armed Anderson. So yeah, he gets the 2-for-1 schizophrenic card.
I mean, why not?
All right, fun for everybody.
What you got on this one, Suave?
It's the Andersons against who again?
The Poffos.
I'm gonna be real here. I'm gonna give it to the Poffos because they're all actually related.
You know what? That's funny. I was going to say the same thing, but what gives me the edge is Angelo Poffo ran an organization that rivaled Jerry Lawler's organization from a different territory. Brought Randy Savage in and made him a household name before he came to WWF. And so essentially Angelo Poffo sacrificed his organization to get his son national shine. And of course, Leaping Lanny was there. And Leaping Lanny and Randy Savage never crossed paths in the WWF. For that reason, as it relates to the family tree of business, because you know I love me some business, I'm giving it to the Poffos.
I'm with you. And I think, isn't Randy the only world champion out of the whole bunch?
That is absolutely correct, sir.
Professional resume. Run it.
The Orton family versus the Colon family. This
is going to get interesting.
You have Cowboy Bob Orton, or Ace Orton Jr., as they call him, Bob Orton Sr., and 13-time world champion, only wrestled in WWE outside of Ohio Valley, of course, Randy Orton, versus Carlos Colon Jr., better known to you as Carlito Colon. And then you have Epico and Primo Colon, which Primo is just Spanish for cousins, but you know.
Good job. I know we've educated somebody with that.
Now, for those of you not in the know, back when there were all these territories, the World Wrestling Council, the WWC, was the pro wrestling body, the WWF equivalent, on a small island known as Puerto Rico. But what Puerto Rico had was some of the most devout wrestling fans, so much so that they would pack up in an arena and they would bring over mainland talent to the likes of the late, great Bruiser Brody. Ric Flair has spent numerous times over there. In fact, Ric Flair, after his last match, a week after he did his last match, went over to Puerto Rico to get into an angle with Carlos Colon. Antonio Inoki has been to WWC. Give me some. Abdullah the Butcher was a booker over at WWC. There's numerous people from stateside that have gone over there and come back to prominence. What's my man that's down with the Nation of Domination, Savio Vega? Where do you think he came from, wearing all that Puerto Rican garb?
Puerto Rico, but of course.
But the issue I have with the Colon family is, while they're only household names to diehard wrestling fans, Carlos Jr., Epico, and Primo were known in WWE. They weren't known for anything spectacular. Meanwhile, Bob Orton Jr. ran through the entire 80s in the WWF with a cast on his arm accompanying Rowdy Piper. And we don't, his son, Randy Orton. Come on now.
I get why the Orton family would be an easy choice, but the name Colon rings bells in wrestling history for good and bad reasons. And it's one of those things where it feels like they're too weaved into the fabric of what professional wrestling is. Like, for them to be a territory that has essentially lived the lifespan of wrestling twice. Well, enough to be a major promotion, then survive when everybody else died, and then still be going.
They're still going now.
Trending, still going while we're trending back in the direction of territories.
Hell, I didn't think they would survive the pandemic, but yet they're still standing.
It's a destination on next time I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm trying to see what that's about.
It's been three massive hurricanes in the last 7 years.
Yeah. Help me make my decision on not go anytime soon. Thank you. Let's take that off the list. Won't be going there anytime soon.
My bad, dog. My bad.
Hey, Carlito, just know it wasn't my fault, bro.
Oh, that's right. Blame me.
13 world championships is a lot. Is a lot to try to turn your nose up at. As much as I want to make the case for the Cologne family, is Orton gang.
I got Orton as well, man. And it's hard. It wasn't even easy. It was a really hard decision. As I'm sitting here trying to figure out like which way I'm going, back and forth. It ended up on Orton. For our this would be easy. For our next matchup, Dory Sr., Dory Jr., Terry, the Funk family, and for shits and giggles, we'll throw in Jimmy Jack.
Right.
Versus Jerry the King, Brian Christopher Lawler, the Lawler family, and for legit reasons, the Honky Tonk Man. Suave?
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Jerry's the king of Memphis.
Thanks, Suave.
No, not even.
I'll be funny.
Thank you. Good night. It's been beautiful, guys. He is the king of Memphis, real life. He lived that shit. What he did with that kingship, that's the shit that keeps you from speaking about him in a more positive light.
This is your king?
Yeah, is this your king? And if there was ever a time to say that. So, and then his son, similar path, at least not that I know of, as far as his personal life. Professional life, though, come up through the ranks. Nepotism wins, and he wasn't trash when he got his shot. So he's able to carve out a niche. He was able to be someone who will be fondly viewed upon even as time goes on.
I can go back and watch a Brian Christopher match, whether it be him solo, whether it be with Scotty 2 Hotty. Like I can go back and watch one of those matches at any given time and get equal enjoyment from one to the next because he was so foolish on the outside of the ring.
Him and Scotty 2 Hotty were printing money,
man,
in a time where they were all printing money. So, I mean, legacy-wise, it takes Lawler's massive catalog of wrestling pre-WWF and then combines it with, the notoriety of being on WWF television for 30 years.
Man.
And then add I guess what you would call a spin-off character to the sitcom. That is a really, really funny way to look at children. That's hilarious. But they have a run that spans what?
You talking about the Too Cool?
No, just the Lawler family. When you look at the conjunction of him in Memphis all the way up to WWF, and then
Jerry started in the 70s in Memphis.
You see what I'm saying? So how many decades does that make?
He's in a very rare class of people. Let me see: 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. Was he in the 60s too? That's what I need to check.
Possibly.
He's in a very rare class of people that have wrestled in 6 decades.
See, so you've got a legacy that spans 60 years.
So, to add to that, the other 2 people I can think of off the top of my head, and it's not say that it's limited to these 2, but you can also add Ric Flair to that list and Dustin Rhodes to that list. Strange, right?
Right.
Dustin Rhodes. Wow. Let's see here.
So tell me about their opponents. Tell me, help me keep them here.
So Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk were both NWA World Heavyweight Champions.
World, Craig.
And this is why, this is when the NWA World Heavyweight Championship was looked at as the top belt in professional wrestling in the world.
World, Craig.
Dory Funk Sr. created the Western States Sports, say that fast 5 times, which became an outlet for people who went to I forgot what it is now, but what used to be known as West Texas State University. Easily the number one university that professional wrestlers came out of, and he gave them jobs when they stopped playing football. Notables to come out of there would be like JBL or in fact Dusty Rhodes, Barry Windham, Blackjack Mulligan. Like all of these names came out, and then they spent a little time over at the Double Cross Ranch over in Amarillo, Texas. Dory Funk Jr. also runs the Funkin' Conservatory, which is a pro wrestling school heralded up there with the likes of like the Hart Family Dungeon and Killer Kowalski and Johnny Rods. It's highly heralded, highly touted as a place that where you want to go to learn. Terry Funk competed for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in the early 90s against Nature Boy Ric Flair. And then on top of that, he leaves and goes to ECW
in his
50s and starts doing like the wildest, we're talking barbed wire matches. Like no ropes, but barbed wires instead of ropes.
End up headlining the main event in ECW's first pay-per-view, Barely Legal.
Like he would try to stop the match the night that Mick Foley went through the Hell in a Cell and swallowed his tooth and it came out through his nose.
Mind you, this is at least 3 to 5 years later after the ECW situation we just talked about.
And even though Terry Funk is having some, memory issues as expected, but he's late into his 70s. I was
finna say, bruh, come on.
He's late into his 70s. Dory Funk is still with us too. Dory is 82 years old to this day. In fact, by the time you hear this, he would be 83, celebrating his 83rd birthday on February the 3rd. This one is and then they go back on the Honky Tonk Man, because we did not say this one. What makes this so hard is the Honky Tonk Man goes on record as being arguably the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, holding it for a record 454 days. The Intercontinental title, that is. Something that has not been done since. So, Lawler, Jerry Lawler, that is, was touted as being I've heard 39, I've heard 52. Like, there's so many world championship reigns that Lawler has. None of them are recognized because it's literally like he put the belt on himself. And it was for a territory that didn't compete outside of the United States.
Like, is it the world, Craig, or is it just your world in Memphis?
It's your world in Memphis.
You know what I'm saying? Which ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how you want to live, shot. Do your thing, man.
You get too close to Chuckalisa there, Suave. Slow down, partner.
Chill. Everybody be cool. Everybody be cool.
For my money, I got the Funks.
You ain't got to argue with me.
Right on. Okay, Funks it is. Get the funk on.
I ain't never really heard about none of them having no transgressions, and hell, I like Terry Funk.
Hey, even if he is an old egg-sucking dog.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. That is exactly why.
I really thought when I was a child that they would really brand them motherfuckers with like a portable electric branding iron.
No. Terry got active in ECW and tried to brand Mick Foley for real with a flaming one. Like, for real.
I used to drive Double Cross Ranch the brand on people's folders and shit when I was in elementary school.
Bruh.
Next up, The Hart family versus.
They can't possibly go home, can they?
Versus. This is here. Here is where we get to a knockdown drag out, and I mean it.
Okay.
Because, bitch, Texas.
Oh, shit.
The Wyndhams.
No. I'm not going to do this with you. I'm not going to do this with you, sir. I'm not going to.
Can I just talk about how great this tournament is so far?
Sure. Talk about it.
That's all I got to say. This tournament's great so far.
I'm not going to do this with you. It's the Hart family dungeon.
The patriarch, Stu Hart.
Stu.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Bret Hart. The
what
excellent
it do,
execution.
Stu? Red Direct Bret.
You have Jim the Anvil Neidhart married into the family. His daughter, Natalia Neidhart.
Uh-huh.
You have Bruce Hart, Keith Hart.
Right.
You have the degenerate ass Teddy Hart.
Silk Mama Del P Del. Yeah, come on.
The last graduate of the Hart family dungeon, and what's my man's name? TJ.
TJ.
What was his ring name? Tyson Kidd. God damn it. That's his name, Tyson Kidd. You also have Davy Boy Smith, who married into the family, who begot his son, Davy Boy Smith Jr., a.k.a. David Hart Smith.
Junior. Your daddy's son.
He said Junior.
Junior.
Oh, man. Who am I missing anybody? You talking about a gang.
I'm just saying, like, and then you can't, when you do the Hart family, you can't leave out the dungeon. And if you can't leave out the dungeon, you have to include the people that actually came through the dungeon.
Dynamite Kid, Chris Jericho, Lance Storm.
Mark Henry.
Ooh.
Yeah, people want to forget that Mark spent time in Canada.
And if you mention Mark Henry, the one Hart that we should not be forgetting, even though we could because he's a nugget, but we shouldn't be forgetting because of his talent, the late, great Owen Hart.
I'm saying the Blue Blazer needs its own pedestal.
Man.
Look, off that alone. And you could say first match WrestleMania 10, that'd be enough. Oh, go ahead, roll credits.
But then you had the loser of that match go for a second match in WrestleMania 10. Like, how we do that?
Because we breed them over here. We breed them like that, dude.
Oh, man. And then we got the Wyndhams. We got the Wyndhams. Mm-hmm. We have the patriarch, Blackjack Mulligan.
Yes.
You have the Widowmaker, Barry Windham.
Okay.
His brother, Kendall Windham.
Right.
Married into the family, former tag team champion with Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda. Who begot Wyndham Rotunda, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt.
Piqued my interest.
Bo Rotunda, a.k.a. Bo Dallas.
All you gotta do is Bo leave.
And they got babies. They got baby Wyatts and baby Rotundas that's coming.
Ain't none of them taking bumps yet. Not guaranteed. None of them are taking bumps yet.
Some of the toughest people in this business with legitimate pedigree. Mike Rotunda wrestled at the University of Syracuse.
Facts.
Barry Windham, multi-time world heavyweight champion. Blackjack Mulligan and Blackjack Lanza killing tag teams in the 70s. Bray Wyatt, two-time WWE champion. But if you're going stroke for stroke, Stu Hart ran not just the dungeon but Stampede Wrestling, which begot some of our most heralded talent that we've seen. Also got the announcing start for Mauro Ranallo, to a little known fact there.
It if I remember Bret Hart's documentary right, that's where the ladder match is born.
Yes. Man,
I'm just saying, bro. Like, I wasn't gonna argue with nobody. I knew what it was.
This one's on you, Suave. Who you got?
I got the Hart family.
I got the Hart family too, man. It wasn't easy.
Was it?
It was not easy. It was not easy. So when you both families breed professional wrestlers,
right?
But when your training facility is in the basement, and everybody you produce is great,
right? Like both families breed professional wrestlers. One family exclusively is breeding world champions. Like, not only is if you're born into this, if you just sit around this for a while, you gonna go be great.
Just pull up.
Stay for the weekend.
You want to film a documentary? Just go and sit in that corner real quick. Hey, can you hold him while we do this?
Pause.
Yeah, that's a pause. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, it's a super pause. But it's the Hart family.
For our final matchup in the first round, the Hennig family versus the Guerrero family.
I know what side I'm on.
We're talking the one of the most seminal pieces of the AWA puzzle in Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig, who became arguably one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of our time, who had to not wrestle to fulfill the terms of an insurance agreement or insurance contract that he had taken out. Start off as cool Curt Hennig in the AWA. And yeah, father of Curtis Axel, son of Larry the Axe Hennig, and just all around just great talent. Like, he was the king of the rib. Now, how that goes into real life lore is considerably questionable. But also coming out of that same camp in Robbinsdale, Minnesota, his best friend, Ravishing Rick Boogs, Ravishing Rick Rude, the smooth operator.
We got to find a way to mash that up. A Rick Boogs and a Rick Rude ring promo.
Hey, I mean, he got the mustache. He just need to change the tights and get some airbrushing popping off.
Right.
Other notables that he went to high school with, or came out of the high school that he went to, which was in Robbinsdale: Road Warrior Hawk, Crusher Darso, Nord the Barbarian, Tom Zink, aka Z-Man, Brady Boone, and one of your favorites, Suave, Nikita Koloff. Now,
had us all fooled. we all thought he was full-blooded Russian.
That dude took kayfabe to a whole new level.
God bless him for it. My goodness.
He changed his name legally.
That is dedication. Oh my goodness.
And now we go from the great state of Minnesota to Texas. The Guerrero family.
Guerrero.
Headed up by Gory Guerrero, who is the master of the Gory Special, and also is credited with inventing the camel clutch. Don't know if you knew that or not. That's back pocket action for you.
I see what you did there.
Who begot one of the earliest six-man factions I had seen in Chavo, Hector, and Mondo, which a lot of people don't recognize Mondo because he stopped wrestling before everybody else did. But Chavo and Hector used to travel the territories and just run roughshod over like people like the Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express. Also in that same generation, the youngest Guerrero son, Latino Heat, aka Dominic's father, Eddie Guerrero.
Hey, chill. Nah, they borderline beefing about this shit now. Like, chill. Vicky was. Somebody rubbed Vicky the wrong way. If that quote is real,
it's not.
Okay, well, good.
That she didn't say that because in fact
I hadn't done any research. I was like, Auntie, this how you gonna treat nephew?
No, she came out and said that she hadn't even spoken to that site. So one time for Vicky Guerrero.
Man, I want y'all to just cut your fingers off when you feel like making up some shit.
Vicky and Eddie begot a daughter, Shael, or Shaul, as it's pronounced in Espanol. And in a third generation, which people think that they were brothers because they were raised as brothers and are virtually the same age, Eddie was actually Chavo Jr.'s uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Which a lot of people don't know that either.
You had to be watching WCW in like the late mid 90s or something like that.
Because that's where you heard
Uncle Eddie.
That's where you heard Chavo Jr. versus being Chavo and Chavo Classic because Vince just doesn't like the name Junior. Oh man. And by the way, Shaul Guerrero now goes by the name Raquel Diaz in the ring, in case you didn't know, who is married to Aiden English. Don't know if you knew that or not. So Aiden English is also part of the gang.
Interesting fun fact.
It has no bearing on this. I'm going with the Guerrero family all the way on this one. What you got?
Because I was going to say, at some point, because of Ray and Eddie's relationship, don't the Mysterio family become gang too?
Yep. I mean...
Well, now, throw all Ray shit on top of that. And, whatever Dom's going to do. Whatever Grape Street going to produce.
I mean, carry the one. Like, I literally went from 1 week saying I don't think Dom has what it takes to, in one night saying, you know what, this kid's got something. And that one night was in the Royal Rumble. I take it back, Suave.
I told you. And one more time, I told you. Dom is ready to turn a corner.
Yeah.
I just didn't know he was going to be in a 6-4 when he did it.
Is he a star yet? No, but he's going to be. And he's
well on his way.
And he's a lot closer now after the Royal Rumble than what he was a week before the Royal Rumble. Mark my words.
Wait till they get a vignette with Uncle Conan.
That's the last thing they need.
Hell yeah.
He is middle-aged and crazy. He don't even care. He's telling you, hey, like, what? Well, that's for an episode. We will come back to that one too. Oh man. So here we are in our quarterfinal round. We have 4 matchups. Let's get it out the way early. This is the main event of the evening.
Is it?
The NOIE family versus the McMahon family. Suave, run it.
Ooh, grand opening, grand closing. This is like answering which came first, the chicken or the egg. Because it's like, without one side is saying, without me, you wouldn't be this famous. The other side is saying, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have anything to begin with.
You can't have a hardware store without hardware.
Facts. Chickens have to die for you to get that 10-piece.
Somebody had to hatch that egg, though.
You see what I'm saying? You see how complicated this gets? Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, man.
Well, who fed the original chicken?
Oh,
What two species mated to create a chicken?
And who was the first person to call it a chicken?
See, how do you know what it was? And when did that chicken figure out they can lay eggs?
Y'all just out here fucking
for no reason. Just for no apparent reason.
Oh, this is the roughest one of the night.
This is like arguing, do you like the church or do you like the choir? Because you can, if you love the choir, you'd watch them work outside.
I'm about to say, the church ain't the building, it's the people in it.
You said a mighty word there. I'm going to take the NOIs off of that statement. Yes, Lord.
Oh, man. Any other tournament, we could have a longer conversation. And it's arguable that without the McMahons, the professional wrestling business would not exist as we know it. Here's the thing. Oh, shit. What up, Trips? What's happening?
Here's the thing.
It would still exist. And feeding the gene pool, and in this case, the talent pool. I hate to do this. NOIE's advance to the semifinal round.
I'm feeling uncomfortable about this now that I'm thinking about it. Like, the platform is the content bigger than the platform?
You'll be asking. You'll be getting philosophical all night, Swab. This is only like an hour plus show. Like, we only have so much time here.
Go ahead, man.
This is what the smoke is for. Show at BrokenPistolBC.com, BrokenPistolBC@gmail.com. On the socials at BrokenPistolBC on what?
Everything.
The Rhodes family versus the Pothole family.
Rhodes.
Not even close. You have Randy and yeah, there you go. Now, another chicken and egg conversation here. Kinda. Orton's versus Funk. Suave, what you got?
Why does it feel like this is all the same family tree? Like dead ass. Like this is all the same family, and just the names got switched up somewhere.
As the further you get deeper into the list, you start to feel that way.
Terry Funk is the okay. If I'm taking the most dominant performers as far as what I've seen with my eyes, it's Terry Funk versus Randy Orton. Which one has given me more entertainment?
That's rough. Because
exactly.
That's about equal.
Right, because like Randy will say some shit he ain't supposed to say. Terry Funk lives by saying shit he ain't supposed to say.
Randy made a whole portion of his career doing shit that he wasn't supposed to do. And the turning point for him was when he got spat on by Christian and went ape shit and lost the match by DQ because it was part of the rules. And not just his character shifted, but the person in real life shifted from that moment.
Terry Funk was turning flips in his 50s onto metal trash cans.
Randy Orton made tag team wrestling fun in the later part of his career. I thought I'd never see Randy Orton as a tag team wrestler primarily, and he did a 1.5 year run with Matt Riddle.
Terry Funk helped get Bunkhouse Buck over. Do you realize how difficult it should be for you to get over if your name is Bunkhouse Buck?
Bunkhouse Buck.
That sounds like the name of like some obscure late 80s rap song.
It sounds like some shit you had to pay extra money to see.
Say, man, I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Boy, I mean, this is you gotta flip a coin for me.
If
you got a choice, let me know.
It was crazy as you mentioned Buckhouse Buck. If we were to do a family a territory families tournament, he would be in one of the top families in the territories, the Fullers. Don't know if you knew he was a Fuller, but he definitely Tennessee Robert Fuller.
Oh yeah. I do remember that name.
Yep, they cousins.
Well, I'll be damned.
What you know what was my man, the Southern guy from WCW that was managing people?
Colonel Robert Parker.
Yeah, that's Robert Fuller.
Yes, I'm aware of Mr. Fuller and his exploits.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you. This is gonna be the first, possibly the only. I'm hoping the only coin flip of the evening. We don't need. All right.
That's for me. That's what it comes down to. Like, I saw more of Randy Orton and Terry Funk. Which one gave me the most enjoyment? And it's like, for different reasons, they're about the same.
Like to like Terry Funk because you thought he was retired, as he's dressed up in a full-blown Texas tuxedo, calling a Ric Flair match, only to beat the brakes off of him and announce that I'm next. This is in the 80s. And then the 90s, you had, and mind you, go back a few years, he was actually on WWF television. And then in the 90s, you see him doing everything but dying in the ring.
Barbed wire matches with Sabu. Just really out here doing some scary shit.
And he's done some shit in WWF or WWE in the 2000s, as well as ECW, Impact, TNA in the early 2000s as well. Like, he was all over the place and still competing. It's insane. Randy Orton, since 2002, has been consistent. At the time, the youngest world champion in WWE history. Like, that wasn't a fluke, even though I thought it was at the time. It wasn't a fluke. The transformation of that man over the years is awful, like in a good way. And I'm gonna tell you somebody who I'm gonna compare size for size to, in the caliber of talent that I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. The next Randy Orton is Montez Ford.
I can see where you would make that comparison.
I don't know if he's going to hold as many titles as Randy Orton, but as a singles competitor, I see him.
You know he's not, and you know why. Don't do that to our audience.
My bad.
Chill. Like,
let's flip this coin, man. Heads for Orton, tails for Funk. You ready?
Roll it.
Up in the air, coming down. Heads for Orton. Orton advances to the next round.
I can live with that.
All right, final round. That's our final matchup for this round. The Hart family versus the Guerrero family. This matchup is a real matchup. It couldn't happen to two better families. The Guerreros are the Harts of Texas. The Harts are the Guerreros of Canada.
Dead ass. Like, I started trying to count world champions. I'm like, well, shit. It's two over here. It's two over there. Hey, bruh. I feel like I'm going against the set if I pick the Hart family, but let's be.
And they're both stopped at about the same time, gene pool wise. Like, Natty's still going, but it's like that's it. But we haven't seen the Guerrero since Eddie, because Chavo is behind the scenes. I would have loved to see an angle where Hector came back and he and Eddie were lying, cheating, and stealing back and forth, because he looked the same way Kurt Angle and his brother looked. Like, they looked identical when they had that mullet.
Eddie carried the mullet into the early 90s. Like that by itself he should get something. I'm going to pick the Guerreros just for Eddie's mullet.
Wow. Off the mullet?
Yeah, because look, if we're going to keep it real, all of the world champions or world championship caliber shoot fighters came out of that damn dungeon in Canada. But I feel like, we're not giving the Guerrero family a fair shake.
You know what? I hate to do this. I'm going to the coin flip.
I don't think this needs a coin flip.
You don't think so?
If we're gonna flip coins, then I can't see the Hart family leave like this.
Yeah,
I can't risk it.
Yeah, because you're going with Guerrero, and I can't make up my mind. I guess I guess the push will be Guerrero then.
All right, so Eddie's a world champion. And we're still counting Ray by proxy, right?
We're counting Ray by proxy, yes.
Ray's a world champion.
Brett, multi-time.
Yes. Mark Henry's a world champion that had to go through the dungeon.
Mark Henry's the world's strongest man.
That too. Roddy Piper went through the dungeon at one point in his life, I believe.
Roddy Piper is a heart.
Ding.
People don't know that. Roddy Piper is a heart.
Yeah, WrestleMania 8 was a whole lot of shoot. Like a lot of those comments, 100%. Yeah.
Davey Boy. We've seen DH.
Mm-hmm.
Cool as shit too. Vicky Guerrero got the most heat I've ever seen.
Right.
Damn. She got booed so loud that Cena had to translate her words to the crowd.
Right, and we hadn't heard another pop that loud to like literally
Royal Rumble.
Right, Royal Rumble. That's it.
That might do it right there. That may do it. So no matter what your accolades are, it's all about the reaction. Eddie has gotten cheered. Eddie has gotten booed. And Vicky is a heat magnet that proved that she's a heat miser by with that shit that she pulled in Austin. And
using some slick ass logic that I can't argue with.
Yeah, I'm Guerrero. That's it. It's Guerrero.
Run it. Go ahead.
Wow. Okay. All right. So here we go. Semi-final round. You ready for this?
Let's go.
NOIE versus Rhodes.
NOIE.
The gang is too big, bruh.
It's too many of them.
It's way too many of them. Orton versus Guerrero. Guerrero it is. So as we take it down to the House of Brown, our finals, the NOIE family versus the Guerrero family.
NOIE.
Your winner of the Broken Pencil Booking Company Families Tournament.
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.
From the Isle of Samoa, the NOIEs. That was fun. If you have an argument for us, we already told you what it is. Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com, at brokenpencilbc on all things social. That's at brokenpencilbc on what?
Everything.
Suave, take him to the house.
Pencil pushers. Heads up. Pencils down.
Don't 23 and me, you bitch.